Welcome back, guys, to another wonderful episode of the GG's Mouthful Podcast, the real episode 237.
GG, yay.
That voice, of course, who is about as enthusiastic as I am, I guess at this point, is Mr. David Santos, a.k.a. Dream Twister.
Hi, everybody. Oh, yeah, super enthusiastic, super exciting. Woohoo.
I know.
Friday, I know.
It is Friday.
Yeah.
It is Friday, and, well.
I'm drinking water. Let me see.
Me
Crystal
too.
Spring water. That's what I'm drinking.
Yep.
That's what I'm having right now.
I'm drinking Great Value water, which
Great
is
Value water. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Walmart brand water, guys. This is basically sink water if we're really calling it what it is. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're wondering why we're so down in the dumps, well, actually, perhaps I can just start with, hey, Santos, what's been up this week for you so far?
I don't know, bro. I stuff. I play a game or so. What do you start? What do you start? I'm always talking about what I've done first. You go.
Okay, I'll tell you what I've been playing.
What?
I've been playing the game of every 3 hours pressing F5 on my computer insistently, just so we can try to score a damn PlayStation 5.
No! God bless America. Let me tell you something about PlayStation 5 and the those who did not pre-order. And yes, this is our chance. You know what? It's going down. That's it. You got a PS5? Get the hell away from the group. Don't even fucking post anything. You're banned from the group temporarily, but we're still banning you until we actually can get ourselves some some console.
We're banning you with the words only, for the record.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Don't leave the group. We're just if you show up, if you post something, we're just gonna delete your photos. That's all.
Yeah,
we might hack you. We might send compromising stuff about you.
Yeah, we're gonna
to your friends and family on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens when you join our group. You're practically giving away your personal information for us to see,
for us to use how we want. Essentially,
it's a contract.
It is. You don't realize you sign it. All you have to sign is saying, "Hey, are you human?" Boom. There you go.
Exactly.
You can sign your life away. You said yes. We copy that yes, and we put it on a contract that we can use.
We reserve the right your life.
But in all seriousness, guys, if you do have a PlayStation 5, first off, good job. Congratulations. You obviously were able to...
Good for you. Oh, we're not being sarcastic anymore? Oh, sorry.
No,
Okay, no. Good for you. Good for you. Bravo for you. Yeah. For getting a PlayStation 5.
Here I am, spending, it was 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock on a Walmart website, a site that I've told my wife many a times, don't order from them anymore because they're always screwing shit up. They sent us one time the completely different item. Just like it wasn't even close to what we were asking for. And they said, but that's what you said. Like, no. This is not what we asked for.
Look at the email. Look at the ticket. Look at what you charged me for. Look what you're sending me.
So,
and you know what? I feel for them because they get abused, at that place. I bet there was someone so disgruntled that it was like, fuck it. They just don't care,
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah, they're like, who cares?
They'll send whatever.
It's a table. They'll deal with it. This one's $5 more. We just hooked them up.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay. So this is the site that I'm spending time trying. I had it in my cart 3 times. Three out of those 4 available slots, I had it in my cart. And on the last one, dude, at the 9 o'clock one, I was literally on the review screen. And all I had to do was submit order. And as I submit order, it's gone.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell as a veteran F5er myself, remember we had the release of the 3080 last month, and I tell you, I spent, and that was everywhere. That was not a single website. That was Newegg, Amazon, Best Buy, the Nvidia side, B&H photo, going all around this, having like God knows how many tabs open, and just F5ing, 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 refreshing, just trying to get the friggin' 3080 card. Incidentally, the first pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 started on the same day. It was that
Yeah.
same day of release, actually.
Yeah.
So it became so now I'm not F5ing anymore. Now I have to F10 it because I have to. I was trying to see if I could score them both without thinking of, oh my god, if I got them both, which one I'm gonna pay? I'm gonna pay for, because I don't have that kind of dough just to throw in one sitting, you know. But I was trying to see if at the very least at Amazon it'll let me place a pre-order, because with Amazon you don't have to pay it up front. But whatever, I was more, I had my mindset on the 3080s almost, so I didn't really try for the PS5, because honestly, I didn't think about it. I didn't think that I was gonna that I was gonna want it, to own it so much to play this game. I think what got me hyped up was the recent reports of how good of a backwards compatible machine is, and I'm talking about PS5 right now. Don't think I didn't try for the Xbox either. PS5 was the most recent release this week, but earlier this week we also had the release of the Xbox Series X and X, and it was just as crazy to try to order one on the day of release. It probably not as hard. You probably had a few more minutes to be able to place your order
I
because
do
of
the
the
same thing
demand.
because I've been trying to get the Series S. So that's the one I've been eyeballing. And I'm like, well, that's not bad. I mean, it's $300. I can do that.
And
You know
how
what I mean?
cool would it
So,
have been, yeah, to have
yeah.
a new console in the meantime. Even if you didn't get the PS5 because you knew that the demand was going to be crazy high, at least you had something to hold you off until for the couple months, or I said couple of months, but and I think I
Well,
mean it because
oh, yeah, I was going to
it
say,
probably
I'm
take
pretty
as
sure it
long.
is. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a couple
I meant to
months,
say a couple of weeks,
unfortunately.
but let's be real. It's probably like I've been looking at the trackers online, and I see that there have been like a trickle of PS5 have been released, because all these websites tell you, oh, they're not, they're out of stock. Enter your email to get notified when they become available. And if you think that's gonna work, if you think that's gonna actually inform you on time, then I will prepare for disappointment, because
So
that never works.
here's what I can say, that of the four time slots that were available for the Walmart, restock of PlayStation
Yeah,
5s,
yeah.
of the four slots, I had a random one at the 6 o'clock time hit me up 5 minutes before and say, "Hey, Walmart's going to have this available at 6 o'clock." And it was 5 minutes before. I was already sitting there waiting for it anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You
But
know what I mean?
but you know why? That was because that was something, because they were planning it already. This is not a notification of, oh, they just changed the status from out of stock to add to cart. That's not the same. This one was actually a program schedule drop that they were going to have four times during the day. I think it was at noon, at 3, at 6, and at 9.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about, because we obviously we know that there were other areas, the other places we could that you could get it, but it was not scheduled. You didn't know. So of course, when you and I were trying, me for the regular PlayStation 5, you for the digital edition,
Hmm.
So we were not competing against each other. Uh,
Yeah, we were not.
we we will try to go in, and we notice the difference. The moment the clock hit a clock on whatever time slot it was supposed to happen, the website will come crashing down
Yeah.
hard. Like suddenly it will go, you will not be able to refresh. And if you, this was the ordeal, you will press on all your tabs to try to add it to your cart until one of your tabs will report, hey, I got it on the cart. And at that point, now you're pressing the cart button so you can actually check out. And it'll be if by miracle you got to phase two, you know, now you either already have all your information, your address, and your credit card number and all that ready.
Pre-saved, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, preloaded on the Walmart, so, which means giving them your credit card information for them to store them. So you either had that set up or you were not gonna get one at all, because you were not gonna have time to start filling out your name and your credit card number and entering the CVV, and no. You had to have that shit already set up. The only thing that it was gonna ask you to confirm was the CVV, and go and place the order. So by phase two on the card, you press to check out, and on phase three is to confirm your order, and then that's the one where like
No one
nobody,
got anywhere. Yeah. We
you
couldn't
know.
get past
I
that
mean,
at all.
the
You
select
know.
few, obviously, people got into
Sure,
it, but
sure, sure, sure.
it was at that,
The
yeah,
bots
the
got it.
bots,
You know, I
the
mean, let's be
bots.
real. A bunch
It
of
was
people who
pure
are going
lottery.
to, yeah, they're gonna flip these bad boys. You're gonna see them on eBay. We're probably already there now. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll look
No,
up.
they are.
Okay,
They are, because not even, let's say, like 5 minutes after I already got, started getting the it's out of stock. Even if you had a tab open that still showed it in your cart, it will already give you the message. No, this is out of stock. Like, stop it, stupid. You're not gonna get it. It is out of stock. You will jump into Amazon, and it was there. And it was, somebody was selling it for $2,000. And the
yeah, I'm
sad part,
looking at eBay right now. fourteen
oh, I
hundred,
haven't. No, I
fifteen
don't want
fifty
to.
five.
No, fuck that.
Oh hell no,
Fuck those
no. This is yeah,
scalpers.
no. This is some bullshit if I've ever heard it.
This is why people are getting it for whatever. But the sad part is that there are people paying for that. There are people
No, I
paying
know, I know.
those outrageous prices. That's why
Because the
they
whole
do it.
deal is it's a Christmas item. You know what I mean? And it's
Hmm.
like, how else are you going to get for whoever you're getting it for
Hmm.
this Christmas? You're not. That's the
Yeah.
only way you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Because there are none available. You know what I mean?
No.
And they're not going to be available for the rest of the year. The ones that were in stock at each time I went to see when it's going to be shipped, it
Uh
was November, then it was December. It's just like, okay, so clearly these are, behind. So
huh.
yeah, there's going to be, and this is essentially normal, for me
Yeah.
anyway. I normally, like I said, the only time I ever got something day one was on purpose was the
Was it
Nintendo
Nintendo
64.
64? Yeah.
Yeah, 64. That was the only one I ever did, and even then I was like, man, I should have done this. I should have waited for the library to be a little bit, with titles. And PlayStation 4, I got, like, it came out in November and I got it like in April. You know what I mean? So that's
Hmm.
probably what's going to happen now. Yeah, I'll keep looking if it's there. If it's there, if it's not, that's probably what it's going to end up being. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is what it is.
And if we sound like we're bitter, it's because we fucking
Well,
are.
we are. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah, we are.
I'm bitter about it. I'm bitter about it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
If you don't
Fuck all you guys
understand
about it.
this feeling, first of all, congratulations, and second of all, leave us the fuck alone. All right,
Yeah, screw you guys. I'm
screw
going
you
home.
guys. Now you don't get our reviews of games because
For sure, because let me tell you, I am not getting PlayStation 4 versions of these games if I'm going to end up having a PlayStation 5. So all those games are just going to sit there, and I'll have to wait until next year. And it just is what it is.
so, sir. So I was gonna say this, but I would say 5 minutes after the 6 o'clock drop yesterday, where I saw that it didn't happen, I went to Twitter to complain. Like, no. I went to Twitter because I followed this guy called Wario 64, not Mario, Wario.
Mario. Mhm.
Yeah. So and Wario 64. Let me tell you, if you want to know when shit drops, or if you want to be on the lookout for, whether it's an Xbox or a PlayStation or whatever you think is like hard to get. Like right now, I understand there's a Game and Watch Mini, as if that
Mhm.
thing was a mini enough, when originally that is out and people are going crazy for it or whatever. If you want to get that information on the open, like be one of the first, it's better to follow him than to use one of the trackers like nowinstock.net or those type of inventory trackers, because he is on point. He or she or whoever it is, because
Oh boy. Yeah.
nobody knows. It's a mystery. So some people say it might be a bot actually, but who knows? But the thing is, most of the
It
time
could be
that I get
multiple people.
notification, it
Yeah.
could be multiple. Yes, exactly. It could also be. No, it has to be. You know what? It has to be someone. It has to be a group of people on shift, just checking every source, because he'll be the person that be sending tweets of, oh, Xbox is available at Walmart. Follow this link, and you follow this link, and sure enough, it's there. But if you waited a minute to contemplate, it's gone. But
Yeah.
anyway, it was at 6:06 p.m. And the reason I know the exact time is because I remember it, but also if you go to nowinstock.net, you will see that on Amazon they had a drop of the digital version. Actually, they had a drop of both versions. But by the time I realized that the one that I wanted was gone already, the digital version was the one that got dropped on Amazon, and I had it in my cart. And I had your address ready to send it to you. And my plan was just gonna be Merry Christmas, bro. And here's my PayPal so you can
Yeah.
send
Please send me the money back. Thank you.
this is your gift, but pay me for it. No. But it was gonna be like that would have, if I would have been able to get that, to realize that, I would have been just as happy as if I would have had, my own. Because I'm telling you, man, it was on the card. It was ready to go. The address that appeared, because for some, usually Amazon already has the address. And I think one time I bought something and I sent it to your house, or I think it was your wristpad actually. I still had your address saved, and he presented it to me as the first option. I swear to Bob, it
Mm.
was right there. So I was like, you know what? I understand, Bob. This is what you want me to do. And I was ready to do it, and it did not work. I was so upset and disappointed. Even more so that's why I wasn't gonna say anything, because it's like, ah, fuck it.
Yeah. What's the point if it doesn't work there?
But it
Hey,
did.
well,
But
I
man, that would
appreciate
have
it.
been
I
so
appreciate it.
awesome. That would have been so awesome if I would have been able to get you that freaking PS. And I'm still at it. Hey, if I see it, if I see it, it's fucking yours. I'm destining I'm destining it to you. I don't care. So you're gonna have to tell me at some point if you change your mind and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait. Well, you better tell me, mofo, because if I already have it coming from
No. Money's
Canada or
yours, dude.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. If you find that and you secure one for me, no, the money's yours along with a fair tip, my friend.
No, no.
You know what I mean?
I don't want anything over, because I don't want to be a scalper, but you're gonna have to cook for me at some point.
No.
That's what I want.
It's well done.
There you go.
That's easily done.
That's
Shoot, that's
that's what
easily
I
done.
want. There you go. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Now,
All right.
now the search is on. The hunt is on.
The hunt is on. It is
Oh
still
my
on my
god.
end as well, but I hear you, sir. I hear you. Well, thank you so much, and thank you guys so much for hanging in with us as we, vent a little bit here with the frustrations with pre-ordering, like literally trying to give somebody money, and they're like,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
because
no,
it's
you
not
weren't fast
pre-order
enough.
anymore. It's not a
Yeah,
pre-order. We were trying to buy that. This
just
is what
buying it.
happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This is what happened. I mean, and we're because as much as we talk about, oh, we're against pre-order. Yeah, pre-order when you don't know what it is. You have no idea when you're just going into the collective hype. But PlayStation 5, you're not gonna skip it. You're not gonna wait for, or and I said PlayStation 5, but the same goes for
yeah, yeah.
Xbox.
For the other, yeah, the console.
Obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like if you know you want it, you want it. This is not a game that you're buying that maybe if they did good or whatnot. I mean, true, true. There are people that are very in the mindset of nope, I'm not gonna get it right now, not even if I see it, because I want to wait because I want to make sure that the system has no issues, and that's completely fair and good for you for doing that. I'm on the mindset that I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to wait. I will get it, and then if something horrible were to happen, heaven forbid, we had another red ring situation. I'm talking about like a real issue
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
system. I can
A failure. Yeah.
I can hopefully trust the warranty. It'll be an inconvenience, yes, because when the red ring was happening back in the day, it was an awful inconvenience. Now Microsoft was handling it. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they
They
knew they
still did
fucked
their
up.
part.
They knew they completely fucked up with the design, and that's why now you see this one's the later 360, with less of an issue. But it's because they knew they fucked up, but they were handling it. They were sending you the stuff. They were taking care of the
It's
shit.
still,
They were
yeah, but
taking care of
you're
everything.
right. It is still an inconvenience,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
obviously
definitely,
no
definitely.
one wants to go through that. So if you're
No,
trying to avoid that, that makes perfect sense
yeah.
in doing so. So no, you're not going to get any hate from any of us here.
You might get a little hate if it's available and you don't grab it. You might get a little hate from us, but
Yeah,
it's
but
all in
we'll never
love.
know. Yeah, we'll never know. Okay, all right. Well, again, thanks so much for tuning
And I'm
in.
back.
The, Well,
Just
first
to grab
off, if
something real
you
quick.
can, go to goodgame.rocks and join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This
This
week's hot
week hot
topic.
topic.
Oh, dear Lord, my phone failed me again. I knew he was going to
I
do it. I
think
was
it
like,
had to
okay,
do with PS5s
I
not
have
being
it.
available,
How?
and if you don't pre-order, you're a loser. And Xbox One Series X, Y, Z to the third degree or something. If I
Something
if I
along
had to
those lines.
guess,
Actually, it is how persistent will persistent games be in next gen?
that's
That's
that's,
it's,
that's almost
it's
rhymes.
it almost does.
That's Dr.
Uh,
Seuss right there.
so yeah, so basically the history, or rather the thought process behind this is that we all know that there are, these live service games that are, like particularly I think if there's one thing that this generation solidified was the live service game.
Oh yeah.
PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, it just blew up.
Hmm.
You got your Fortnites, you got your Divisions, your Destiny, and all this. And
Everything has
so,
a season pass or not a
yeah,
season
Season
pass.
Pass.
What do you call it? Well, yeah, yeah, true. They have season pass, but I was thinking more. What do they call them? Battle pass. Thank you.
Battle Pass,
Everything has
depending
a
on what
battle
it
pass.
is, a Battle Pass or Season
Hmm.
Pass of some sort, just to keep you coming back. So
Hmm.
now that we're making the leap to next gen, the question is, which one of these are going to continue? Are they going to continue the same? And then are there going to be new ones that are introduced that are going to be able to, carve a piece of that pie that I always
Hmm.
mention? And with Godfall coming out, because that's the newest one, and if I'm not mistaken, that is a PlayStation 5 PC only
Yeah.
game, or at least definitely PlayStation 5 at first. I
Um,
don't know if PC is delayed, but it may be same
Oh,
day.
that's a
I
good
don't know.
question. That's a good
But
question.
the
I
point
haven't
is,
even checked.
yeah, the point is that it is the newest one in the group, and we're going to take a look at the existing ones, and then see how this one would gauge with them. So that's
Oh no, you know what? It is. It is. It's got to be available on PC because Rafi's playing it, and he doesn't have a PS5.
okay. So there you go. Yeah.
So
So you're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
PC. So
It's probably like an
so there
Epic
you go.
exclusive. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. You open the Epic game store, and it's like the first thing on your face, like pow,
Yeah.
Godfall.
Yeah. So which has been getting. We'll go into that later. We'll go into what they've been getting later. But let's go ahead and
An
start.
amazing response.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
we'll
We'll
talk.
yeah, we'll see. So let's go ahead and start with what we have been up to, sir. Other than
Sir,
the game of
F5.
F5, yeah.
Yes.
What else have you been doing?
Well, so this week, uh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla released,
Yeah, you did.
and yeah, and I'm very excited because I liked Odyssey, and of course we had two actually powerful. When I say powerful, I mean in the sense of like big AAA releases from Ubi, uh, like almost within a couple of weeks of each other.
Pretty
We
much,
had
pretty much within
yeah
2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
we had Watch Dogs Legion, and now Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, let me tell you about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, my friend. I am not playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you already said you weren't going to. But go ahead.
No, I have it. I own it. I didn't buy it. It was given to me by one of the computer companies, whichever. I think it was with my AMD processor. It was like a promotion. But I said I'm not gonna play this game until I'm done with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because I need to finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey in order to send a message to Ubisoft, letting them know that I don't need their stupid experience booster bullshit that they try to sell you to fix a game that otherwise would have been ideal. I would say, it would have been a Witcher contender. It wouldn't have won, obviously, because The Witcher 3 is an amazing game. But if I'm comparing it to this, it should tell you about the quality of game that it was rolling punches. Basically, again, it wouldn't have won because Witcher 3 is a phenomenally exponentially better game. But this game was very good. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the area. I think the world building is gorgeous. It's amazing. The vistas. I don't think. I mean, they're running on an engine that is starting to show a little bit of its age, but
Mhm.
it has aged gracefully so far. It still looks really good. I'm if it wasn't for the fucking grind that was imposed just to get you to buy the experience booster or normalizer. I call it a normalizer because I feel like that is the proper way to play to play the game. Not that I'm advocating for anybody to spend $10 to get this booster crap. Uh, if it wasn't, if it wasn't for that, this game I would consider like, hey, not one of my favorites of all time, but definitely a good, a good game. A, a solid 8 on our scale.
Mhm.
Right now, I can't do that.
There's no 8 on our scale for the record.
Oh, that's right. Fuck.
So
A
a solid
solid. What would this
great.
be?
I don't know.
This will be a great game. Yes, this would be
So that'd be a
a
4.
great
Okay.
game. There you go. Thank you. A 4.5. Anyway, the I want to get it. I want to get it over with, honestly, and that's never a good feeling when you're playing a game just to get it over with. More like work,
Hmm.
and now That said, I'm not having a bad time with it, because if it was so boring to the point of this is just this is just a boring grind that I don't want to do this anymore, I would have stopped a long time ago. But the game has its hook. I really like my character of Cassandra. She's a really cool chick. It's a really cool character. I like that world. I enjoyed the combat, especially when I switched my weapon. I was kind of stuck of using the same type of weapon, so that's what was kind of like making it a little stale, the combat. But then I switched up to using a heavy two-bladed axe, and now I love it because I'm finding out new moves that I wasn't doing with my dual wielding swords, or with the daggers, which
So
is
how many
usually
hours
the
are
way
you in it already? Like, there's got to
I
be a timer, right?
I have. Well, yes. Now gameplay game the the launcher, which is Steam, is clocking me at 80 hours. I haven't
Mm.
played for 80 hours, however. If I had to guess, I probably have put a good
Yeah, I
65
was
to
gonna
70
say.
hours. You know.
I mean, because it still clocks idle time, right, and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And I have
yeah, I
left.
get
There
that.
are times where I leave it idling, but and to be honest, if you wanted to try to go for everything, I can see this game taking, again, without the booster, without the normalizer experience normalizer, I can see it taking you over 100 hours, if you wanted to do everything, which I certainly will not, because this game is full of places to go and quests and like crazy stuff, like crazy stuff like that. uh, and but I also I have come this far already. I'm already level 41. If you remember last time talked to you about it, I was level 39. I
Hmm.
think. So you can see how slow and trudging the thing is, and the game has supposedly a very cool DLC, of which I own also, and I'm deliberating if I should just go ahead and jump into it just to experience it, because I heard good things about it. The Gates of Atlantis, or I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it takes place in Atlantis. And I'm also noticing that now, when so it has a cap of 50, or I don't know if that's a soft cap, or I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna go over. I should be able to finish the game before I reach that cap. But anyway, um, the I'm noticing that now is that I'm having the chances to go against some interesting boss fights that are not, oh well, now you're battling a more skilled uh, warrior person or whatever. Now I'm going against like freaking Cyclops, a huge ass Cyclops, or a another creature that's like a flying lion. I don't know what it's called. Manticore? Who knows? I don't know anything
Sure.
about. Sure, we'll call it that. It's not a manticore. I don't care, guys. Right? But what I'm trying to say is that now is that I'm finding the interesting boss fights that I'm like, where was all this content hours ago? Decade years ago. I've been playing this game since 2018. Now, granted, not consistently. Obviously, I have dropped it and I picked it up, and I dropped it and I picked it up. But this game came out in 2018, and now is that I'm discovering like, oh shit! So you actually do fight that Cyclops that you saw on the screenshots of of Steam, a long time ago. Oh, now is it that you get to those interesting fights? Like, why is this not sprinkled into the middle of the game? And they just have me doing all this like repetitive crap, and you're holding up for like the last 10 levels. Like, what's up with that? Also, the loot system, it's almost like it doesn't really matter, unfortunately, because they they made an effort of making each piece that you get look cool,
Hmm.
but I don't think they. Oh, thank you, love. My wife just brought me coffee, and I'm a happy husband. So they made an effort of making these pieces that you wear look cool, look interesting. I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
they're like super like amazing, but there there was nothing looks too repetitive. You can say that some effort was done on making stuff look unique, but unfortunately they didn't master the okay, now make that piece be interesting, be something unique versus another piece that you will wear that will probably offer you, because yeah, each of them have bonuses, but the bonuses are never something that will make you stand out or fight entirely different than the way that you were fighting before. One might give you 20% to well, your flaming attacks will ignite the enemy 20% faster, but if you wear a piece with a 10% versus a 20%, it'll be hard for you to notice that, or the effectiveness of it is not game changing.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, yeah, the loot looks interesting, but you're never gonna care about finding anything in particular. This is not Destiny where you're hunting for this particular weapon because this weapon operates differently and it looks cool and stuff like that. It's just like, oh well, it's a random item. It looks cool, but whatever. I'll wear those crappy looking sandals because the crappy looking sandals are a higher level, and I can take that crappy looking sandals and just keep upgrading them and keep upgrading them and keep upgrading them all the way till they become like amazing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter that much. I've so far all the reports that I've heard about Valhalla is that the game addresses a lot of those complaints that Odyssey had. It's like, hey, Odyssey, it's definitely one of the better Assassin's Creed. I feel like the Assassin's Creed series ever since, like you know me, I didn't care a whit about Assassin's Creed, uh, and I might argue to say I don't know anything about the modern portion, the modern day portion of the game. Like I don't know, and I don't care. The game stopped being about that a long time ago. Even though every now and then they might try to put that in. Um, but the game itself, ever since Origins, have become uh, better made. Like quality wise, they're not like stupidly buggy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They seem to be
They put a
you
little
can
bit
see,
more elbow grease into it. Yeah.
yes, exactly. You can see the polish, and I'm telling you, I mean, I'd never played Odyssey, but I heard good things, so much good vibe about it. I just didn't believe it because it's an Assassin's Creed. I mean, that what can they say? Last time they talked about a game that highly, it was Black Flag, and Black Flag was a good game. I just didn't care for it much because it was still cemented on that old Assassin's Creed mythos.
Hmm.
But this one, Odyssey was definitely a step in the right direction. They just kind of fucked it up by messing up with the game with game elements in order to satisfy the the DLC revenue or whatever. And I've heard that Valhalla doesn't have that. Valhalla doesn't have a normalizer, and apparently the game is it's a good game. I mean, it has so far the reviews have been uh, very good. I will say, not stellar and it's not that's certainly not perfect, but somewhere along the lines of what I wish Odyssey, like Odyssey, could have achieved that. You know,
I don't know.
uh,
I don't know if I don't know if at some point, like thinking back to The Witcher, you know what I
uh,
mean? If The Witcher, which I spent way too much time playing,
mm,
if The Witcher was anything short of what it was, I'd have been like, yeah, this was cool. I'm out.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
Uh,
like, it's like I don't see the like. It's difficult for me to put in. that many hours into any game.
Mhm.
So to think about doing it on a game that is just okay or is just missing the mark,
Mhm.
I don't know, bro. It just feels like it feels like you can easily burn yourself out and just not want to play anything for a while. You know, because you're like,
And you be right.
you know,
Honestly, I agree with you 100% on that. I feel like I'm doing this game, and yes, I got the thing is, I'm not like there's nothing else like grabbing my attention so hard. Like I don't have a PS5, so I can't play Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Um, and I don't want to play Godfall, and I like there's nothing like turning my head hard,
hmm
other than not even Legions. Like with Legions, I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'll pick it up some of the time, like 'cause it's not satisfying. And honestly, I feel the same way about Odyssey. The only difference is with Odyssey is that I have a motivation. I want to play Valhalla, but I don't want to play Valhalla without finishing Odyssey because then it'll feel like, well, I'm playing Valhalla now, but I didn't finish Odyssey. So what makes me think I'm gonna finish Valhalla? In reality, I might just drop it, and I want to see how this story ends.
okay.
I want to see it through, and it
If
keeps
you're
me
enjoying
entertained
yourself,
enough.
then I guess that's okay. You know, as long
Yeah,
as you're
yeah,
enjoying
yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
about the only real concern I have.
Yeah, no, but I'm with you. I like it's not when I say when I compare it to Witcher, I want it to again be understood because I understand there might be some people freaking out, and I might you might be on that class when you heard me say that. But when I compare it to The Witcher, I don't mean like they're toe to toe. No, sir. In no way whatsoever, this game is toe to toe with The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was a crafted mas- mastership gold. It's the gold standard of RPGs. The Witcher 3. Uh,
hmm
I say this as a distant cousin, of uh, if
Distant
I,
cousin,
of the
twice
type
removed.
of games that are similar to it. The type of games that are similar, that are on that vein. You can play this game and be like, oh yeah, they changed a lot of the what made Assassin's Creed game feel like Assassin's Creed. They changed a lot because they saw The Witcher 3 and what it did, and uh
Pursuing that.
they're,
Yes, that's
they're
the
pursuing
level
that
they're
exactly.
pursuing. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That you could tell that was definitely their inspiration, and they did well enough for that. You gotta commend them, and I don't think Ubisoft gets enough recognition for the world building that they do on some of the games. They do put a lot of emphasis on detail. Now the execution is the problem. Sometimes the problem is the game is too fucking buggy and it's kind of ridiculous. And unfortunately, that's what people's gonna remember. They're not gonna remember how incredible you modeled England, on Assassin's Creed, whatever it was. They're not gonna remember how expansive the world of Far Cry 5 was. They're just gonna remember, well, the Assassin's Creed that with the weird with the weird bug glitches and the eyes with a hair and nothing else and no face. That's what people are gonna remember.
Those are
And
good.
on Far Cry 5, they're just gonna remember, well, this game was okay. The gameplay at the end, it was passable.
hmm
So yeah, man. But I'm looking forward playing and being able to report on Valhalla. I'm interested in seeing that. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, not surprised, but I'm pleasantly, uh, yeah, I guess you could say pleasantly surprised and looking forward because so far the reviews that I've seen, everything I've heard about it is that yeah, no, it's not perfect. It's not um, the top game of 2020 or who knows,
hmm
but they definitely address some of the annoyances of Odyssey, and Odyssey was already an entertaining game, so I can only imagine. I wouldn't mind put in some hours on it, and maybe I'll just drop it later on and then just pick it up. Like I feel like those type of games with Ubisoft, I don't have to see them all the way through the end on one sitting, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Like,
can come back
yeah,
to it.
I can just come back and pick up, and it's not like you miss a lot. They don't grab you like freaking Final Fantasy VII Remake did for me, you know? Or it's like I don't want to play anything else, and even after I beat it, I'm like I don't want to play anything else, and I
Yeah, that
haven't
was
turned on
pretty
my
good.
PlayStation 4. Yeah,
Since, geez,
since
unbelievable.
yeah. Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
I need like a I need
No,
a
you cannot. Go ahead, man.
I need to apologize. I need to apologize to Bugsnax. We certainly made a lot of fun, about it. No, I haven't played it, and no, I have no intention of going into it or anything like that. I mean, I might just tag it and grab it, for as long as it's free on PSN right now. But uh, the general consensus on that game is that the game's good. The game is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like it's even though it's also available on PC. The game's like it might be PlayStation's Viva Pinata, and Viva Pinata was a special game back in the day. Let me tell you,
Yeah,
that
but
game was a special game.
I give respect to it for getting the kudos from the media sites. You know
Uh,
what I mean? I don't know if I'm still going to like it. I did tag it, and I already technically is part of my library now. So,
oh.
so whenever I have a PlayStation 5, guess what? I got butt snacks if I got nothing else. So, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's good. By that
Yeah,
time, probably Bugnas 2
maybe
would be out. But
we'll see. Who knows? Who knows if it's good? I was looking at a lot of the because I have like zero interest in it. I actually looked at a full video review, and I was just like, the person was very happy with everything. I'm just looking at it going, yeah,
yeah,
I don't, none of that interests me. It's well made for sure. But yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's like a Pokemon-ish kind of. I don't know if it's Pokemon-ish, but
yeah, I don't
I
think
was
Pokemon
grab
is. I didn't get
those
that
things
from that.
together.
So,
No, probably not Pokemon-ish. There's one that is very Pokemon-ish. It might as well be called Mokepon or something like that because it is astoundingly Pokemon-ish, and that game's coming to PS4 now. It was available on PC for the longest time, and can't remember the name for it now, but it's out on PS4. What's it called?
apparently, it's
Pokemon
Pokemon.
Pokemon like game on PS4
Oh, the one that
Go.
was on PC, right? Isn't that the one?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
and what the fuck was that thing called? Temtem. Temtem.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one.
Temtem. Dude, I'm waiting at any moment. I'm waiting for the news of Cease and Desist by Nintendo Entertainment of America or Nintendo Japan, whoever.
Maybe for sure.
Maybe.
So
That's
that's
all.
I guess that's all you've been doing.
Honestly, yeah, no
Okay.
movies, just playing. I'm trying. I'm trying to remember to look at my Steam library here to see if I have put some significant hours into something. But no, I mean I put Dirt Rally for a little bit and Ghost Runner for a little bit, but not enough time to say that I've actually been playing it this week.
Cool. I have actually played a few things. First off, I was able to finish Observation, which was a lot
Mm,
of fun. It took me about
really?
yeah, it's not long. It took me about maybe somewhere between the 6 and 8 hour range, somewhere around there. Um,
Okay, that's
and
not bad.
it's it's not a long game. So much though, I did enjoy it though because I literally finished it and then restarted it immediately because it has such a
What?
great intro. It has such a great setup. It really feels like a sci-fi film, like a sci-fi. A
Huh?
2001 Odyssey is what a lot of the people have been comparing it to.
Mm-hmm,
Um, because you end up playing the AI again. This is a game where you play the AI on a space station, and you're trying to help or find out what's been going on. And it's pretty cool. I actually posted a video. It's literally like the first 20 or so minutes of it, right up into the intro credits, which is like a perfect setup. because then at that point the mystery is revealed as far as what the mystery is, but not how. And obviously that's where the game comes in. But but you can kind of see the gameplay. You can kind of see how it looks and the type of things that you, as the AI, would be doing. Sometimes you're opening up hatches, or sometimes you're sometimes you can actually go out for a spacewalk and even and try to fix things on the outside of the space station. So it's very cool, very well voice acted and enjoyable, man. It's just the music, everything had this suspense to it, which was really cool. You know what I mean? Because you just didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was like, whoa. But it is really cool, and I highly recommend if anybody likes that type of sci-fi, that type of thing. By the way, one of the makers of this game, if not the head maker, actually worked on Alien Isolation, which, if you know, was a lot of that weird 80s tech, with that you would use.
Yes.
So it has you can see the connections between those two right there. Because I was just like, man, this looks, it's a lot of fun, but also looks very, I don't want to say dated, but because I don't know, NASA hasn't been out in space in a long time, so who knows what tech they have now. But anyway, really cool. Not going to spend much time on it because I mentioned it last week, but definitely check out the video.
You're recommending it then? Because I mean, if you're playing,
this is an easy recommend for sure. I started it right over again. I don't recall now what I gave the last week, but since I hadn't finished it, I can definitely give my finishing one, and I would easily give this a 3.5. This is really, really good.
Oh wow! Okay.
So yeah, definitely recommend that. I don't know if that's what I gave last week, but for sure.
I was about to ask because I didn't remember what you gave it last week.
I think I gave it a 3 last week. If I had to really think about it, I think I gave it a 3, which is fine. It was just on its way. Yeah. So,
okay, cool.
Next game I played is another little indie title because that's what I'm all about, guys. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Wait. No Hades. We're not talking about Hades this week.
No. Actually, you know what? I didn't do any runs this week. No runs this week on Hades. Yep. So
Hades can go to hell this week. Okay.
I guess so.
And go to Hades. Okay.
So the game is called Ghost of a Tale, and tale is spelled like a story. The title is a little bit misleading because it's just this weird. So you end up playing as this little mouse that's called Tilo. And basically you wake up, you're locked in a dungeon, and you are trying to find your wife. And so you cannot fight. You can sneak around, but if you get called, like somebody sees you, you have to run and hide because you're not able to fight them. And who you're fighting are rats, and these are the guards. And obviously, they all kind of stand up on 2 legs and all this, but they still look really. The graphics or the design of the game is kind of what attracted me to it. I was like, man, this is a very good looking game. You know what I mean? For what it is. But that's the gameplay. Gameplay includes, finding keys, finding outfits, and if you put it together a complete outfit, you can actually kind of walk past people without them knowing that you're Tilo, and then they have to fucking take you down. And that's really it. A lot of kind of fetch quests involved. Hey, give me this, and I'll help you to do this, and it's little things like that.
It, man.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what was behind it. Now it is a stealth game, so it's even more because you're always hiding. Because you cannot, there'll be guards going up and down. You have to kind of figure out their pattern. You can knock them out, but you can't kill them. And if you knock them out, they're out for a little while. So think of Metal Gear, where you knock somebody out and they're out for a little bit, but they will wake back up. So then you can, of course, pick their pockets and stuff like that. And it's a very beautiful game. I just don't know if I like the gameplay. You know what I mean? It's just because it's like that's really it. It took me a while to get out of the dungeon, and then when I finally got out, I realized, oh, so this is just the west wing of the dungeon. I'm actually still in the dungeon. Okay,
Oh,
and so what else? You meet some characters, and they give a little bit of backstory. It's not voice acted, so you're reading everything. It is well written for sure.
yeah.
That much I will definitely say. But there's a lack of music that is like obvious. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just like, why is there is music, but it's just like very seldomly used. The rest of the time, you're just kind of hearing the ambient sounds of the dungeon. And I'm just like, this is so
oh.
strange. I'm not used to playing a game that just doesn't have, I don't know, it doesn't have
Yeah, it
music.
doesn't have like a soundtrack. Says the person that doesn't like bombastic games,
The
bombastic
Yeah, it
sounding
doesn't have to be bomb.
music on game.
I don't need Dragon Quest 11 in this. You know what I mean? I just need something going on. So yeah, and it's got like the menus. There's a lot going on. You pick up a lot of keys. You pick up a lot of items that you can eat. Little things you can give people. You have a lore one. Whenever you're having a conversation, in the conversation there may be a text that's read, and because you don't have the history of it, basically it'll take you to like this quick little menu that tells you here's what they mean by this thing. You know what I mean? Here's this
Uh,
weird word that this person's using that you probably don't even know what it means. Here's what it means. So it kind of, you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is just, I don't know. There's a lot. The game has received pretty good. I think it's in the 80s as far as Metacritic, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
mm,
so it's received its fair share of good reviews.
uh,
But I don't know. I just just I want to like it. It's 82. It's 82 on Metacritic. It's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam. So I want to like it, but it's just not grabbing me for whatever reason, and
the
I
spirit is
don't know.
there. You wanna come. You want to thank them for trying something interesting, but
Yes,
it's difficult.
exactly. I mean, I did technically. I bought it. You know what I mean? So it's like okay, but again, you guys should check out a video, just kind of see what. As a matter of fact, I might just post one of the trailer, or something you can kind of see what it looks like. It is on Switch. It's on. I'm playing it on PlayStation 4, and of course on Steam, and of course Xbox One as well. So it's pretty much everywhere. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It was.
What
It's
grabbed
cute.
you?
The
Huh?
character's cute. I'm not gonna lie. It's this little mouse. It's got a little like head wrap. Yes, honey. Yes. Yes, I am. It's
We're
got a little
live,
head.
Katie.
Yeah, we're alive here. So it is. Anyway, it's a very cute little story. So I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. And if I do, I don't know if I'm going to finish it. So that's really what it
Then,
comes down
then why would you go back to it? Like, once I
to. The
start thinking about games like that, it's like, okay, there's no hope. I'm not gonna. I
it's
have
'cause, like I said, there's
appreciated you already.
huge a huge amount of effort, you know what I mean, being put into it. So I'm just like, man. But anyway, what can you do? So the last game I started playing,
Uh,
and I just started playing this I think a couple days ago, and I'm a good amount in. And I really this one here I'm very enjoying. I'm pretty much enjoying, and it's called Spiritfarer, which I'm sure you've already heard
oh
of.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Tell me about Spiritfarer because I've heard nothing but greatness here.
So Spiritfarer is first off a gorgeous freaking hand drawn game. This game has detail that I just didn't think the type of game it is would even have. It's beautiful.
We
So
should
you
probably describe what type of what the art style is. So
I mean it's hand drawn. It's a hand drawn side scrolling thing. But let me get a history on to what is it that what is it you do? You play as the Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is the person who takes you from like we'll call it limbo or the land of in between to the final place, basically. Charon, which is an actual, I think in Greek mythology, the one who the farer, the guy who takes you in a boat and you pay him the coins, and he takes you to, I don't know, wherever the Valhalla, wherever it is that last place. So Charon has retired. So in comes this your character and Stella, and she is now the fairy master, and you are in charge of bringing these spirits to their final resting place. But while they're with you on your boat, they're in your care in every way. You want to have them in a good mood all the time, because only when they're in the greatest of mood will they want to proceed to the next afterlife or whatever. So you're constantly going from one island to another. There's a lot. The islands are very varied. There's some that are very Japanese. I think one is called Fukuyama or something like that, very Japanese, and you have other ones that are a little bit more traditional European and stuff like that. And your ship has a way of building little houses for them on the ship, essentially. And of course, as you get more people in, you'll have to move stuff around. So you can always move this house and put it up here, and it's got a little bit of that in there. And there is a lot of, which normally I'm not a fan of, and there's a lot of resource management, and that you need to, you have a kitchen and you got to be able to cook them food because they're going to get hungry at some point. And for whatever reason, they can't cook for themselves. You know what I mean? So that's actually my one of my favorite parts is you go into the kitchen and grabbing a couple items, putting it together, see what comes out. You know what I mean? It's like one of the. So it sounds
like that part of the management is fun. It's still fun gameplay. It's not.
Yeah. Because I don't think the whole deal is a lot of these management games that are similar to this. Like if you don't manage it well, all is lost. You know what I mean? It's like the end of the world, something like that. Here, it's like it's much more forgiving. The person's just unhappy, and you can easily get them up a level by just giving them a hug, which is an adorable thing in the game, for the record.
I'm literally looking at that as you mentioned it. I see the character, give him a hug, and
it's so cute. It's so adorable to see it because the person's like surprised. Yeah.
The art style, it might as well be a children's cartoon. It looks super, super gorgeous.
Yeah, it is really well done. Every one of the islands, again, I mentioned, are different. You have different things to do out on the island. There's a fast travel system. The map is fairly huge. So when you select where you want to go, it will, it'll start going that way, right? You don't have to do anything. The ship just goes that way. And in the meantime, you go in, and if you have, like, I have a section where I can grow corn, I have a section where I can grow wheat and stuff like that. So, as I'm growing these things, you got to come water them, and stuff like that. So it's almost like it's got a little bit of that, Sundew Valley Stardew Valley. So it has a little bit of that Stardew Valley. The difference is all that's on your boat moving with you all the time. Yeah. And you get people again that come in. Eventually you start to bring people to the, again, to the gate that will take them on to the next afterlife. And yeah. And so it's good. It's good. I love it. The music is great. There's this really well done lighting effect that is like, oh my God, this is whoever worked on this is the company who did it is Thunder Lotus. These guys really, really put a lot of detail into this. Like it's little things. You can see on the map where there's clouds and stuff, and if you're going through the clouds, now it's going to be raining as you're going through. Different types of, you can go fishing off the back of the boat, which I know is not everybody's favorite type of thing in any game, but the fishing is very simple. It's not, doesn't require anything and like that. and different kind of fish come in, and you can get items that way. You can trade items, a lot of trading items, just to get more money to now make the ship bigger, because now you have more people. Houses that you have for people who pass on, they don't go away. It's as if their memory is within that house, so you don't get rid of it. You move it as you need to move it, essentially. And you can make a rock, one of those what do they call it, where you take iron and you make it into an ignite, you know what I mean? So you put it in and put it in this hot thing and whatever. All that I can install into this ship because I need those items to build other things, so that's really the game, and there really isn't a lot to it. Some of the things I don't like is at midnight, like at the latest part of if there's a day-night cycle that's active through the entire game, and at the very, very like night or whatever it is, let's say between 12 midnight and 6, I don't know, there's no time, but let's just assume that's the time that it's referring to.
Yeah.
If your ship's moving, it will stop. It just does not navigate at night. So now you're left in your ship and you're like, well, I do all my stuff at night, so I start cooking stuff. I start, planting new stuff, maybe, breaking down stuff, whatever the case may be at night. Cause I'm like, I don't have any, I have so much food now. I don't know what to do with all this food. And so anyway,
there's no way to make time, advance, like resting or anything.
Yes. If it's nighttime, you can go to bed. And if you go to bed, it will wake you up at dawn, and then you, as the captain, have to ring the bell to wake everybody else up. Otherwise, they'll stay sleeping. So, and you want to get them up. Detail. Yes, these little things. Like if you see on your map that you're going to go to this place and you're passing an island you saw before, and let's say you're just hanging out the back of the ship fishing, you will see that island pass by you in the background. So it's like, hey, there goes that island that I knew because I was considering stopping there. So, well, if I'm already going there, I probably should stop there. Nah, let me just go straight. And I'm in the back just fishing for some extra food. And there it is in the background. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You know what I mean? It's these little tiny details that are amazing in this game. I don't know how long it is, but I know I've put a good amount of time into it. I probably try this, give you his exact time. I probably put a good 7 or 8 hours already into it, and I believe I don't know how many. Just from what I can tell, there's probably anywhere between 10 to 15 spirits. So if that's the case, I've got 4. So it's like, whoa, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a meaty and I don't know if I have to do everything, but I'm enjoying discovering the new islands, and then you get new abilities every time that one of the spirits comes onto your boat. They have to pay you. Obviously, you have to pay the spirit fare to take you to the next whatever. I'm sure you've seen in a lot of Greek mythology or Greek films, whatever, where they put the dead body and they put the two coins on their eyes. That's to pay the ferryman. That's essentially what it is, to take them to yeah. So this is who you are. You know what I mean? And as cutesy as it is, there's an occasional like curse every so often. I'm just like, whoa. I got, I just don't expect it. It's like, whoa, they just dropped the shit right there. Like, okay, all right, I guess, yeah, this is what this is. You know what I mean?
It's a shit.
Yeah, I guess it is. But anyway,
side scroller.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting, and also available everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I literally this game is even on Stadia.
Yeah.
Xbox. It says here Xbox One, Switch, PS4, Steam, Epic Game Store. Well, at that point, we might as well say PC. Epic, Steam, and GOG, and Google Stadia. And I will imagine, obviously, that the current we can start calling them now the current gen consoles, the next gen consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
Are able to play them to some sort of backward compatibility. I will imagine.
Of course, yeah. So, it is. It's definitely very good. My only complaint is sometimes it'll stop, and then I have no choice but to stop. I'm like, okay, let me just go to sleep so I can keep things going. You know what I mean? The other thing I have is that It is, again, very, very well written. This is a like really detailed, um, elements to all the writing on it. But there's a lot of writing on top of that, and it's not voice acted. So it's what for me, it's just like I get spoiled with those games that give me voice acting. I'm like, whoa, voice acting. This is great. And then you get to this, and you're like, oh, it's a lot of reading. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. If you're okay with that, then obviously, it's just for me personally. I've gotten spoiled in my old age where I'm just like, just pay a little extra to get some voice acting done here. You know what I mean?
The remaster edition will have.
Well, maybe, yeah. So that's Spiritfarer. And then I have watched two things. First off, still going down my trek of Batman films, and I've watched The Dark Knight, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Man, oh man, this is such a freaking good movie. It is in every possible way. And yes, you can nitpick and whatever. There's every movie can be a nitpick, but there's just something about this film. This just this level of real world grittiness that they brought to Batman, where you're just like, man, this is so good. Two of my favorite moments is his I'm going to speak to this movie as if you all seen it. So his when he has to go to China to bring back Lao, that whole sequence is fucking awesome. The way he's just gliding and then comes into the build. Oh, dude, I'm like, damn, this is badass. You know what I'm saying? It's just like some really awesome shit. And then the next sequence is the protection of Harvey Dent in the streets when he says, I'm Batman, and they take him in and they know the Joker's going to come for him. And of course, at this point now, and it's just the way it starts, the whole way that thing starts, where it's just that little violin going, just know, like, oh shit. And obviously because I've seen the movie, but it's just so well done. It's just so freaking well done. And then the end when he's having to attack the the building where Joker is and all that, and that whole sequence when he's using the sonar thing, and it's just like, oh my god, this is exactly what you want of Batman. Exactly. And I feel I'm curious about Robert Pattinson's Batman. I'm gonna see it regardless. I just feel, looking at this movie, we have gotten the best version, and it's just never going to hit that pinnacle again. It may get close, but it may never get back to that, because this had no fantasy. This had elements that would make sense today in the real world with the two boats, two ferries. And they're like, no, they you look at that today and you just go, man, this there's something here that speaks to today's environment at the moment. Just like, because right now I feel like both of those ferries would have blown up because, they would have just went, no, fuck it. This is exactly. But it's also so awesome when they don't. And when they stop for a second, and the guy, the one with the criminals, he takes a tiny list of the big black actor that you've seen in a couple movies. He takes it and he, with the fear of God, puts it into the guard, like, give it to me, and I'll do what we should have done 10 minutes ago. And he throws it out the window. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then the other guys are about to do it. The citizens are about to say it, and then the guard over there goes, yeah, you know what? They haven't killed us yet either. They've been going for. They literally did a vote. You figure that had to take a while. So
by now,
yeah, exactly. So anyway, I can definitely say, guys, everybody should revisit this film. It's been a while since I've seen it, and I'm glad that I went back to watch it, because I'm glad I'm taking this trip, because it's just so much fun seeing these, and it's just, again, I know the next one, the Dark Knight Rises, is not going to hit on the same level, because it never did when I first saw it, and it's a shame. Again, it's a shame, because it's still good, yeah, for sure. It's a shame because again, I feel that we're never going to get to that. It's done. We've got our best one, and we just need to hold on to this. That's all we got. And so anyway, and then the last thing my wife and I started watching is a little miniseries on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit, and this is a very good show, and I invite everybody to watch this. It is not based on any true story, for the record. I think there was a rumor or something out there about it, but essentially it is a story of Beth Harmon, who is orphaned at 9 years old, ends up going to an orphanage, and she starts to learn how to play chess. And then it's realized that she's extremely good at chess, learns it really quickly, and then becomes this prodigy. Before you know it, she's traveling the world at a very young age to take on the champions and to become a champion, the world champion, essentially. And the actress who plays the main role is Anya Taylor-Joy. You probably remember her from movies like, Glass. She was the survivor from the prior film, which I can't think of the name now. That one, Split. No, not Split. Split. Yeah, Split. Right? Yeah, Split.
Yeah, Split would have been.
Split, yeah. And so she was the main actress there who ends up surviving at the end, obviously.
Okay, yes, I've seen her.
Yeah. And so she plays the main character here. I don't really recognize anybody else, but again, really, really good, really, really interesting. Only 7 episodes, a miniseries, is not going to go anymore. That's it. You know what I mean? So easily digestible. It's like a very long film if you look at it. And because of that, it's really, really well done. Another one I can definitely recommend. I think I'm at the 5th episode, so I have 5, 6, and 7 left to go. And it's really because this is one where I'm like, I'm all right taking my time on this. You know what I mean? Because it's really, I'm enjoying it, and very well done, very well. But anyway, that's all I've been doing. So here are the 3 I got, sir. The one that was only $7 was Far Lone Sales, which I've had my eye on for a little bit, and at $7, I'm like, gotta do it. Gotta do it. My friend Pedro is the other one.
Oh, yeah.
I finally got that one. That's on PlayStation, and it was also on sale. And another little title by the name of Bayonetta.
What? No way. You got Bayonetta?
Yeah,
you got Bayonetta, yes! And it's recorded also. Oh my God, this is the way we open the show. God, finally! It's like that day that you got so happy because I finally started playing The Witcher 3. It's like, finally!
Yes, I recall that day. And to this day, I'm not even sure. I don't even know what happened, but
oh man! See, when I say I'm gonna play it someday. It's not gonna be today. It's not gonna be tomorrow, but someday. Same thing with Last of Us 2. I'm gonna play it. How am I not gonna play Last of Us 2? Let's be real. When?
True
I don't know. Someday, it's.
Well, I hope you realize that my purchasing this does not necessarily mean I'm just going to jump into it immediately, because guess what? 3 weeks ago, I bought, what's the other one from them? Oh my God. Vanquished.
Oh, Vanquished. Yeah. You haven't touched it.
Yeah. And have not touched it. It's just, and it's downloaded. It's installed. You know what I mean? It's just, I have not touched it. So, it's on the docket. I mean, we can definitely agree to that. It'll happen at some point, maybe.
Bayonetta is such a good game, though.
But at least it's there, right? It's the first steps.
Yeah, of course. Hey, listen, you spend money on it. That's I'm happy. You gave some money to the developers so that I can finally try to see if they can wrap it up on Bayonetta 3. However much it's taking them to do, because my God.
Well, sir, there is a global pandemic at the moment. We are back, guys, by the way, unless I'm not sure if you've noticed that already, but we are back, and it is time. Well, first off, I am a proud, as you just heard, I'm a proud owner of Bayonetta, but I also got a couple of titles. My friend Pedro, they had some sales on PlayStation Network, so I do recommend you go. This is all, they have like a, what do you call it, like a feature or a deals page where it has all about the indies, and it's up to like 75% off. Some like really, really good sale, or maybe it was 80. I don't know. It was something significantly high, the sales, and so I was able to get a lot of these titles. Yeah, I think I literally paid $28 for those three. So there you go.
There you go. Hey,
sales.
That itself is $20.
Yeah, there you go. So $28, and I got these three titles. My friend Pedro, Far Lone Sales, and which is an odd indie title, which nobody here probably has heard of. That's fine.
I was gonna say I've never heard anything about Far Lone Sales, and I'm gonna check out to see if it's
if it's even worth it. It probably isn't, but I will report back eventually on that. So
cool.
All right, so let's start off with the news item. My first news piece,
and
guys.
I'll start with the news item. Maddog bought Bayonetta. Back to you.
Yes. It is console launch week, guys. I don't know if you know that. I know we ranted about it earlier, but you may have skipped it. Just if you did, it is launch week. And obviously, Series X has actually been on the market now, or rather on the street now, 4 days, I guess, because we're recording this on Friday. And apparently, there's some videos floating around the internet that shows the Xbox Series X whirling loudly and making clicking sounds after accepting a disc. And yeah, I actually take a look at a lot of these. There's a lot of videos for the record.
Oh shit, for real? I didn't know it was that bad though.
It's
not Kirby Car, Kirby Cat, is it?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I would suspect that the source of this article that I'm reading from Polygon would have vetted some of these. It doesn't say anything as far as it being, but it definitely. Did you hear any of the videos? Because it's some clicking.
No, I mean I saw the report, but because I didn't see it, because this week there was also a piece of news of a YouTuber had to return his PS5 because he was given some sort of problem, and I'm like who cares? It's one console doesn't mean one thing doesn't mean there is a recall the consoles, because obviously they're not, this is not the Red Ring of Death if just one YouTuber had a problem with their review unit or whatever, and so I didn't pay attention to when I saw the Xbox One report. I thought, okay, so that's just probably, of course there's gonna be a report of people having, of someone having problems, but someone having problems to a video of a lot of people having. Well, first of all,
different sources.
The source having a video with like 5 people having the issue doesn't necessarily constitute it a gaming pandemic.
No, exactly. It's running rampant in the Xbox, but obviously with every console, you're going to have a failure rate. There's no one at 100%. That's just not how that works.
Any electronics, for that matter.
Electronic phones as well. As much as they cost, you can run into a phone that has a massive issue that you have to get it back to them to replace. Here, it doesn't seem to be anything other than the actual disk drive itself, where it appears as if it will not accept a disk. And when, in some cases, when it does, you're hearing the clicking sound. Now, one of the videos I saw also had the Xbox Series S, which does not have a disk drive. That is strictly it's solid. There's nothing to insert there. So, but it's still making, so it could be, something in the fan that's whirling in it and making the clicking sound. So it's it's strange. Obviously, I'm sure. Again, I'm sure it's not widespread, but it's interesting, and I feel kind of bad for those who ran into that, particularly the disc one. But frankly, that's why I'm going discless. It's just like, hey, who needs a disc
this
anymore?
is the reason why you're going this list.
No, but it does help the
This
argument.
is the last straw.
Yeah, no clicking for me. I don't want no clicking on my system.
I don't like clicking. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's you don't. You never want the exposure of a problem, even if it's whether it's uh if it's my. I mean, if it's major, I want to know about it. Obviously, uh, but even when it's minor, when you got a bunch of people that report the issue, and then you got someone recording it. Like I mentioned, Croby Cat. Croby Cat is a famous YouTuber that well, actually, I don't know. He never shows himself in his videos. It's always videos about like crazy, stupid stuff that happens in the video game industry, and his videos are kind of uh, they're meant to be humorous. But
Mhm.
uh, the he has some famous videos of the failure rates of the Switch, for example. I think that I want to say there was another one on the Xbox, on the Xbox One. There's the famous one with the Ouya that he did. He has a funny one with Mass Effect. Anyway, the thing is that if there's a issue with people recording their problems on YouTube, he'll scrounge out those videos from YouTube and just put them all together into one video that is usually hilarious, but it also makes it like very alarming. Like, holy shit, there is a problem. There's a problem. That
There
said,
was some videos that went out showing a smoking or smoke coming
oh
from
yeah,
a.
all coming out.
Those
Yes,
were yeah, those apparently were fake. So those
those
have
were a
been debunked.
hoax. Those were
Yeah,
people vaping into the console
into the console.
to the point where there was literally, and I posted this. You must have not seen it on the group. There was a tweet from Microsoft that kind of went on the lines of, no, actually, it says, I want to quote it. It says, "We can't believe we're gonna have to say this, but please do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox Series X."
Yeah,
That's a tweet
that's pretty
from
awesome.
Xbox from
That
at
is pretty
Xbox.
awesome.
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Um. So this first of all, I want to say they're no longer next gen consoles; they're current gen consoles now.
They're next
Or
gen until I get one in my hand. Okay, that's how that works.
did we have the conversation of when do we stop calling the next gen and we start recognizing them as
Yeah,
current
yeah,
gen?
we did.
That was an argument that we used to have. I forgot where I stood with it, and I forgot where you stood with it.
I don't
Uh,
recall, but I know that I for sure know right now, until I have one in my possession, it's still next gen. I've current gen is,
listen,
PlayStation 4 because that's what I currently
no,
have.
no, listen. Next gen has been a long time ago. I'll go back. I'll tell you how far back. Next gen have been since last year, and you did not realize or you did not accept it. But Google Stadia brought us the next gen to the current gen. All right, you know what I mean?
Okay,
It was Google Stadia that welcomed us into the next gen. Say no. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm gonna say no,
Well, you're not gonna tell me I'm wrong. See? So
an
there you
emphatic
go.
no.
And speaking of the next gen pioneers, Google Stadia just can't seem to sell these things away because now they're giving them away like literally.
Oh
If
god,
you if you are a YouTube premium subscriber, which I am, you
as
can
am I.
now, yes, as you, that's right. You can now get a free Google Stadia bundle. Uh, Google
Damn.
is trying. Google is trying to Google is trying out a new way to get Google Stadia cloud gaming platform into more homes by literally giving it away. Google is now grieving. Yes, they're grieving. All right. Google is now giving free Stadia bundles to anyone who's subscribed to YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium subscribers can now earn a free Stadia Premier Edition bundle, which normally costs $99.99. The bundle includes a Stadia controller and also a Chromecast Ultra, which players
Oh,
can connect to their TV to play Stadia games. To play Stadia games there. Unfortunately, the bundle doesn't come with a Stadia Pro subscription, which costs $99 a month. Although new customers get a one free month of Stadia Pro, while Google One subscribers get 3 months. A YouTube Premium subscription costs $11.99 a month. But if you wanted to jump on board in hope of getting a Stadia bundle, it seems that this won't work. According to a screenshot from Twitter user Random Noob YT, so he's a YouTuber, I guess. It looks like the deal only works if you were a subscriber before November 6th, which makes this bonus only enjoyed by those who were already committed to YouTube Premium. This also means you can't jumpstart your YouTube Premium free trial to score yourself a Stadia deal.
mhm.
Hold on. There's a correction now. This just in, guys. An earlier version of this report stated that Google Pro Stadia period lasted 10 days. However, new Stadia users actually get one free month. Oh, never mind. I mentioned that they already made the correction.
Mhm.
So anyway, you and I are YouTube Premium
Subscriber.
subscribers,
Yes, we are.
and we have been prior to that November 6th date. And I mentioned it to you, and it didn't sound like you were too enthusiastic on it, to say the least. Uh,
Well, I mean, I wasn't because I was originally thinking of Stadia, but they mentioned a Chromecast Ultra there too. So I'm like, well, shit. It's not the Chromecast Ultra is not just for Stadia, isn't it? Isn't it
no,
for?
no,
Yeah,
it's Chromecast Ultra is it's literally the Chromecast Ultra that will cost you what,
dude,
fifty
that would
dollars
be
or 60
yeah,
or whatever it is that it
that could
costs.
be good. I
It,
would be all right with that. I might
well,
just do it.
well, not
Oh,
even with that, it got me to do it. I was like, yeah, I just don't. That's how little I care about Stadia. And yes, you get a free Google Chromecast, but my TV has Chromecast in it already, and compared to the my other methods of the way I consume streaming services, for the most part, is I don't need a Google Stadia for it. I mean, I don't need a Google Chromecast, a Chromecast for it. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
have a TV in the room, my bedroom, that I can probably attach it to.
oh, there
Now,
you go. Yeah, that's good.
I did leap off of the link onto to Stadia,
Mhm.
and I immediately get flagged something saying, "Sorry, you're not eligible for this offer. This offer is not currently available in your region." Uh,
What?
yeah.
You don't
So,
say. Hold on.
yeah.
That's,
From that same article in Polygon, right? It's the one you're reading.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I jumped
That is
off of the
bull
one.
hockey. Let me
Did it do
see.
it to you? Yeah.
No, let's see.
From that article, go
Sorry, your
from
offer is not. Oh wow, this might have. Okay, so they might have sold out.
oh,
Because I remember
what did they say?
the first time I clicked on it, it literally took me all the way to where I was ready to put my order. Well, maybe not as far, but it wasn't like hard stopping me like it's doing right now.
Hmm.
It wanted me to double checks. I don't remember what it was. I received an email, but I ignored it. I was like, "What am I doing? I'm not gonna use this for anything."
What am I doing here?
Why am I looking at the Stadia again? Come on, like Stadia right now. We can. I guess we can safely say now that Google Stadia is officially on dead watch, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah.
are we
Oh
calling
yeah,
it?
for sure. Well,
Okay.
I think they're going to give it this holiday season, and then at
Okay.
that point, they will probably sometime probably at the end of the fiscal year, which for most companies is March.
March.
And so probably earnings call around that time, they'll probably come out and say, yeah,
That is not working.
we're yeah. Because that is, I mean, no one's talking about it. The only people talking about it is them, and they rarely talk about it. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The
This is the first
marketing
time
is
I'm hearing.
poor.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing anything about the Stadia for God knows how long, and it's
Mm-hmm.
to say we're giving it away for free. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
to give it away,
yeah,
giving away for free.
yeah.
There's no exclusive anything. All that touted like, well, we can use the computing power of Google's data centers to bring you games that you cannot do on consoles, and we got consoles now doing all sorts of crazy stuff, ray tracing, 120 frames, per second, and craziness
That's
like
another
that.
thing.
And
That's another thing. The consoles have now surpassed what you can get on the Stadia because Stadia does not
yes,
offer race tracing. It's not going to get anything close to that.
no.
Yeah.
I
At
mean,
this point,
it could with an upgrade to hardware, but when you're losing
yeah. But
money
if they're
on
not
it,
outputting on it that way,
yeah,
then
yeah,
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 yeah.
they're
So
not gonna spend the money on it
no,
if if there's no interest. Honestly, Google should just cut its losses, and I'll be surprised if by next year they don't do that. Considering that that's usually their mo. They tend to have programs and then kill them when they're not working for them. Some of them
yeah,
even when they're working, it's just they're not working to their expectations. So
yeah,
I don't
agreed.
know.
Yeah. All right, guys. My next piece, kicking it over to the PlayStation 5. There
Oh,
is
we
some
haven't talked about
interesting.
that today.
No, not at all. There's some interesting stuff on the backwards compatibility of the PlayStation 5. Or I should say, let me just read this off of the article from GameSpot. The backwards compatibility of PlayStation 5 is pretty impressive. Fire up the console, sign in your PlayStation account, and navigate to the library screen, and you can see and easily download just about any PlayStation 4 game you own in digital format. But the user interface gets a little more confusing when you're trying to download a game that's available for PlayStation 4 and a place. Oh, excuse me, the game that's available with both PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5 version, and apparently it's pretty annoying. If you got the game similar, let's say Miles Morales, that's available for both on both consoles, and you can choose which version you want to download. But for some reason, though, PlayStation 5 consistently defaults to the PlayStation 4 version, the cross-generation version, as opposed to the PlayStation 5 version. It's something that obviously will probably get patched. But
Oh, for
for
sure.
some strange reason, it's just defaulting to the PlayStation 4 version, which obviously can be misleading for anyone playing the game, thinking they're playing the optimized version. Some more information on that on PS5. PS5, there's a little bit of a public service announcement. The DualSense microphone is on by default in multiplayer, so just keep that in mind when you jump into multiplayer matches. It is immediately on. DualSense controller built-in mic is definitely not going to be, or excuse me, definitely going to be useful for players who don't have a headset handy. But it could be a nightmare for anyone who forgets that it's on. The on by default microphone has already caused headaches for those previewing the console before its November 12th release, with microphone broadcasting private conversations or frustrated comments not meant for team members to hear.
Oh wow,
So yeah, keep in
that's not
mind that
good.
even if you don't have any headset plugged in, the
Hmm.
mic on the PlayStation 5 DualSense would, again, this is probably something they may end up patching in the future, but immediately right
Oh,
now it is
they're fucking better because it sounds
uh,
like a major.
annoyance. Yeah.
Well, at the very least, annoyance. At the most, an invasion of privacy. Because at that point, you are
Yeah,
broadcasting information. You're not letting anybody know that hey, this is happening. You're just
correct.
turning on
It
a
should at least,
microphone without notifying, which I
yeah, it
believe
should at
is
least
illegal in
flag it
some
on this.
states.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be like, you mean California.
Yeah.
Uh, 'cause everything fucking California is, I don't know.
Illegal.
Anyway, yeah, everything's legal in New Jersey and everything's illegal in
Illegal in
California. That's how
California.
that works. And Oregon is just a freaking wild west. I don't know if you heard recently they had an amendment that I guess got voted in where apparently small amounts of heroin and cocaine are
Oh,
actually okay.
really? Holy please.
Yes,
Like,
yeah, so freaking weird, dude. So
wow,
Oregon
wow.
is now the Wild West, guys.
You,
Just
you know what? I understand the arguments for pot, honestly, because they're sound and all that, but fucking cocaine, like what the fuck do
cocaine, yeah,
you mean to
yeah,
tell me you need medicinal cocaine,
small amounts.
medicinal heroin?
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Small amounts are okay. And I don't know if anybody knows about heroin, but no
Mm.
one does heroin in small amounts. It's just not how that
No,
shit works. I'm just saying.
no, exactly. That's not how that shit works.
That's not how it works.
It just goes to show, man. It's
Yeah,
sometimes. I mean, yeah.
yeah. You just get
Um,
through sometimes. I don't know. My last part of this, sorry, on the PlayStation 5 update is PlayStation 5 does have an error that's causing a lot of headaches on launch day, and it's called the queued for download error. The error occurs
oh
when you
no,
try.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, I hope not. But the error occurs when you try to download a certain game that you already own, but the download simply won't start. In an example, they tried to download Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which was their first error, but found themselves stuck on a screen stating there's no downloads queued up, essentially. And then hopping over to the download queue for PlayStation 5 shows that there's no download in progress, and there's also no list of errors. There's good news and bad news. The error can be fixed, but it's not going to be pretty. IGN is reporting that a full system wipe of the PlayStation 5 will fix the issue, but that means having to re-download all your existing games. And if you don't have a PlayStation Plus, you'll have to use the built-in the PlayStation 5's built-in backup tool to keep your PlayStation 5 saves files, because the console doesn't let you export save data from PlayStation 5 games to a USB drive. It's worth considering that this issue seems pretty widespread and is likely to be high on the list of fixes PlayStation 5 first firmware update. While it will affect a single download, it doesn't prevent you from downloading other games. So if you're patient, you may be able to wait this one out. That's assuming Sony can fix it quickly, which is totally up in the air. They've been asked Sony to comment, and we have nothing from them because they never comment. So.
Yeah. They, and I get the first of all the obviously the console launch has been an unmitigated success, and the PlayStation 5 seems to be an amazing piece of hardware, and and it's understandable that bugs like this will happen, and especially will show themselves as up the sample base grows a million fold, a
Mm-hmm.
million billion fold as it sells more and more. And people are gonna find this issues. So I don't fault them for it, and I'm pretty sure this is something that they're gonna get patched, you know, relatively quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if this week we don't, or this coming
Pretty
week.
early, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I bet
That
they
would
address
affect.
that. The Some of the decisions of like not letting you transfer to the external hard drive like that, like baffles me. Like why? Like those are the things that made me go like, okay, so but why? There's no technical limitation to it, so you are arbitrarily putting limitations. But again, for the purpose of what exactly? Like that you didn't have it ready. It's a function of the system that it shouldn't have been difficult to implement.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the not being able to run to support resolutions of 1440. Granted, I don't I don't know of any TV that support resolution of 1440, but there are people that plug this systems or even the PlayStation 4 systems to monitors, to like actual computer monitors
Hmm.
for whatever is the reason, their preference, or they don't have another choice. And Sony doesn't offer that resolution, even though there is no technical reason not to. You know, um, in variable refresh rate, that's a big one, because variable refresh rate has been like a next, I won't call it a next gen thing, because that the Xbox One X and S. God damn it! I hate their naming convention. The previous the last generation Xbox
Hmm.
was doing that, was doing variable refresh rate already, and we are now starting to see variable refresh rate TVs. That helps the perception of smoothness of games. Why not have it? Like, what what is why not have it?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Like, whether, I mean, could it be patched? Of course. Again, that functionality could happen, but you should be prepared for that. I don't know. I don't know. It'll get better over time, so uh, I'm not too worried. We'll have that eventually. Same thing with the 1440 p resolution. Xbox Series X and S. I'll say it before, and I'll say it again. Horrible naming conventions. Microsoft, you don't know how to name your goddamn systems. But the Series X and S, 70% of owners have Game Pass. Close to three-quarters of Xbox Series S and X owners are subscribed to Xbox Game Pass. The company confirmed as Xbox celebrate its biggest console launch ever. Xbox announced that the joint launch of Series X and S is the most successful debut uh, in the company's history, confirming that 70% of those new consoles are attached to either a new or an existing game to either new or existing Game Pass members. It also say that more new consoles were sold this launch than any prior generation launch, which the Xbox Series S is adding the highest percentage of new players for any Xbox console launch. No surprise there. It's the cheaper version, so of course it's going to attract more people.
Hmm.
Um, and they have a quote that says, "Your support and with your accomplished no, sorry, let me start again. Your support and what you have accomplished in the first 24 hours of the launch inspires us and demonstrate the connective power of play is more important than ever. The connective power of play is more important than ever. Sorry. Xbox Corporate Vice President of Gaming Experience and Platform, Liz Hamren says, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Hamren says that 3,594 games spanning four generations of Xbox uh, were played during the series launch, which is a record for the company. And of course, there's working to bring more consoles, since the demand is as high as ever. Right now, it's the same situation. You can't seem to be able to find one. So that's good news. That is very good to hear. If you recall, back in 2013, when PS4 was released, around the time where people were saying, no, the era of the consoles are dead. This might be the last
Yeah.
console that we're gonna have. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
The people talking about that. No, this is it. Next time we might. It's next time we're gonna be streaming games directly from data centers. And
Well,
then
they weren't wrong.
a few years later, Google Stadia came on like, "Hi everybody, I am Google Stadia, and I'm going to show you the next way to play games." And you know how that went.
Yeah.
with that
Crash
voice,
and burn.
mind you.
Yeah, for sure.
uh, yeah, and not but in all seriousness, now you're seeing that the industry is it's stronger than ever.
Mhm. Still
This
vibrant, still and growing. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and to hear that if Microsoft is having an attach rate to Game Pass and of 70%, and all those new people that they claim that they're joining going in, then it 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 seems like their strategy is working. Now what is there? What is there for the future? I mean, we already know about their acquiring of Cinemax and Bethesda and all that. There were rumors this week that they were looking to acquire a Japanese developer to kind of straighten their power in Japan. That
in
has been
Japan.
debunked. Yeah, that
Oh, it's
is.
been debunked. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that was actually it was pretty much Phil Spencer saying, I don't think that's accurate. So when you got the head of Xbox saying like,
Yeah, yeah,
we
not
appreciate
bad.
the enthusiasm, but let's not be throwing away fake news. Let's keep it to the real, see.
I mean, to be fair, yes. Again, we all know the Microsoft and the amount of money that overall they make, and sure, but they just spent $7 billion, and you know, let's let's let that settle in first before we start expanding more. You know what I mean? So as a matter of fact, when you think about it, all the other companies that they acquire, which were obviously nowhere near the same price, but still, they haven't seen any of those fruits of those labors either. So,
No,
yeah,
exactly. Those
I
companies
would
that they have bought, we haven't seen the games yet. That we can say, oh, this is what
yeah,
Ninja Theory. I mean, we know Ninja Theory has
Ninja
the
Theory is
games.
like
Yeah,
legit.
for
Yeah,
example.
exactly.
Uh, but yeah, yeah. It's still early enough. Still, that's what you want to see. Because regardless of which platform you're a fan of, it only benefits you. When you have companies going competitive, we already know how amazing the PS5 has done, uh, and how the demand is there, and how great of a news was to see that. Oh, by the way, backwards compatibility, that thing that we downplayed and got you all worried about. Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, it is
Yeah,
awesome.
but they've also gone, and I think the reason they downplayed it, and or rather, see, I don't think they purposely downplayed it. It's not a focus, and they've been pretty upfront to say that it's not a focus because they look at all, they can see the data and go, yeah, a lot of people are not playing older games, and so should we really, put money towards this? You know what I mean? And so here, at least with PlayStation 5, they said, well, you can go back at least to PlayStation 4, but no, we're not going to bring back 3, 2, and 1. You know what I
No,
mean? So,
no,
so yeah, so
yeah,
I still think they weren't downplaying it as much as they were just saying this still, as we said before, is not really a focus of ours. And so I think they're sticking to what they did, but at least they didn't leave PlayStation 4 behind, for the record.
right,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Which I would have disliked because I have a healthy collection of titles that I don't want to leave behind because it's not like the games became obsolete. The games are still just as fun. They still look great, and I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, it's
we'll see.
you probably wouldn't find me playing a PlayStation 3 title, but a PlayStation 4, sure. It's that at least should be the expectation of backward compatibility. At least try to go at least one generation behind. You're okay. You're covering yourself okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that works. All right, my last piece, guys. Moving away from consoles and moving into the MCU, WandaVision, the first of a whole slate of MCU television spinoffs, which will be, of course, exclusive to Disney Plus, will premiere on January 15th of 2021. Disney Plus shared the release date Thursday on their Twitter account, along with a teaser, which was mostly composed with already seen images. And the series picks up, of course, with Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, living happily ever after with her android beau, Vision, which is interesting, of course, given that Vision didn't even live long enough to get snapped in the Avengers Infinity War. So we'll see how they put all that together. With that said, this officially marks the year of 2020 as having nothing new from the MCU at all, either film or TV show. They were completely shut out of 2020. MCU and 2020, basically 2020 snapped MCU through the year. And apparently they will be revived on January 15th of 2021.
Yes, something from the MCU is gonna come in 2021. Now I have a question. So
Sure. Mhm.
you don't think that with you think that when and yes, guys, we're fucking spoiling the Avengers, the
Endgame,
last
yeah.
Endgame, because yeah, skip it if you haven't seen it.
Because $2 billion says everyone's seen it. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you think that when Tony Stark snapped
Him back?
snap people back into reality, he kind of forgot about Vision. Like, oh shit, Vision! Like he forgot. I mean, he didn't fade away like everybody else, but I mean, you have the most powerful gauntlet that will grant you wishes, evidently. So can't you just say, oh, and by the way, Vision, bring back Vision also?
True, but he had like very little time. And you know what I mean? It's like he had very little time to think what he wanted and snap, right? So it was probably what probably rolled through his mind was undo what this guy did, snap. So, and
literally undo, but then you find on Microsoft Word, undo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Vision. Oh, sorry, Vision.
Yeah, I mean he got eliminated. He got eliminated before the snap, and it's been 5 years. Remember, 5 years after. So who's to say Vision was even in his mind at that point? You know what I mean?
Oh, it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't. Poor Vision.
Well, don't put. He's in a show. Can Tony Stark say that? No, he's gone.
Oh, there you go. He got what he karma. The biggest enemy of the MCU.
Yeah. You don't bring back Vision, you don't come back either.
You don't come back either now, huh? And guess what? Vision's gonna have its own sitcom. There you go. Ha ha. How do you like that? Iron Boy. Sir, oh man, what is there to talk about? I mean, do you want to know about Epic looking to introduce a monthly subscription to Fortnite?
No.
Me neither. And then the other thing I have was talking about how Sony reportedly discussed increasing game prices above $70.
Oh, I can believe that.
I should probably go into this. So, Sony discussed raising the game prices even higher before settling at its $70 price point, according to a new report from Bloomberg. We know now that many Sony first-party games will cost $70. That's the price tag on upcoming titles like Demon's Souls and Destruction All Stars. First of all, really, Demon's Souls is $70?
Yeah.
So that's what we're paying out for remaster.
That's a remake, not a remaster.
That's a remake. Okay, so they changed stuff. What do you say? They drastically changed stuff.
Yeah. It was. I believe that was built from the ground up to be the same game, but built from the ground up.
That's so you basically describe a remaster.
No, a remaster.
So do
No,
we have a reboot, a remaster, and a remake? Is that what we're saying?
yeah, we've had those 3Rs. That's why those 3Rs exist. That you can actually say them now because they
I
exist.
just I just noticed that we have three R's. We have the remaster. Okay, so all right. So I want to hear your descriptions now of it, and we'll make that the piece of news.
Okay,
Um, what
so
is what is a remake?
a remake to
Uh,
me would be a like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. Those
mm,
are remade.
Final
It's
Fantasy
still the
Seven
same
is in the
game.
title.
It still has a lot of the same elements, but that is nowhere near what the first one looked and played like. The first ones looked and played like.
Mm,
But all the normal elements that you would get from that game are there, and they are expounded on. Right. A remastered is the Resident Evil 1 that got remastered, which is the newer looking one, which
mm.
looks gorgeous and really scary. But that's remastered. It's the same
But
game.
it's
They
the same.
just redone all the textures and redid a lot of the what do you call that? The actually that may also be a remake as well, but it's basically the same game though. But
Mm.
so that's to me that's a remastered. Zodiac Age, that's a remaster. It's the same game. It's brought up into make it look better, right? To
Like
make it pop
Demon
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Souls.
No, Demon Souls is a remake. Like I just said about Resident Evil 2. A reboot is when you're starting the lore all the way back from the beginning
Mhm.
and taking liberties on it. You know what I mean? And
Right,
and
right.
yeah,
You're
now you're
rebooting. Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Now you're not. It's not the same thing. I mean, it's loosely based because it might be the same heroes. It
Final
might be the
Fantasy
same.
VII remake is actually a reboot.
So now you're
Nope. There's no
destroying your
argument there.
argument
That's
right there. Because I
exactly.
mean, it's literally in the
I
title.
know.
It's
Hence the
literally
reason.
called Final Fantasy VII remake, not
No, you're right.
reboot.
But it is a reboot because they are now taking like vast liberties. And of course, this is not discovered until a certain point in the game, which I guess I'm probably spoiling a little bit here. But what I'm trying to say is that, to be fair, 95% of that game is remake, and 5% of it is reboot. And that 5% is going to have a drastic impact on all the other
See,
Final Fantasy sevens. So
to me, so you understand what my point lies is. To me, a reboot will be something like Devil May Cry and DMC. You know,
never
it's
played
like
any of them, so I have no idea.
well, okay, okay, bad example for you. I can't think of an example, but you do know that the Dantes are not even the same Dantes. It's like completely
Yeah, so that would be a reboot.
completely different.
Yeah.
They rebooted exactly.
Mhm.
A remake could go to the extent of and not that I'm arguing your point of Final Fantasy, because I actually agree with you with the fact that there's just a lot of things, even though it follows kind of like similar steps, there's just way too many changes to call this to not call
One
it
for one
almost
remake. Yeah.
a reboot, yeah. um, to not call it a reboot. But to me, so a reboot will be DMC. A remake, in a way, is kind of like taking the core game and just bringing it to the ground and rebuilding it back up into something
Hello, Demon Souls. That's exactly what I just
substantially
said.
new. Though I mean, my understanding. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'll be the first one to admit. But my understanding is that Demon Souls is the same game. It's the same game. It's just with
Okay,
with better graphics and better technology. Even if they're using a different, a better engine, that doesn't necessarily make it. I
okay.
mean,
Here's another
I'm
example.
still playing the same game. You know what I mean?
Here's another
Go ahead.
example that will clear this up even better. Shadow of the
Okay.
Colossus.
Shadow
Shadow
of
of
the
the
Colossus.
Colossus had a remaster that came
Uh-huh.
to PlayStation 4, and then
Uh-huh.
it had a remake that also came to PlayStation 4. Both of those games
Remake.
look different, but play exactly the same. They're exactly the same game. There is nothing different in either of those two games.
Uh-huh.
And yet one is a remastered and the other one's a remake. Because
Okay.
it's being remade in a completely different engine and a completely different whatever. A remaster is using already existing stuff but let's say, I don't know, smoothing off the edges and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
no, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand I understand what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's
So that's why
almost
I
like
say that Demon Souls,
uh,
that they're saying, yes, it's the exact same game, but
uh,
it still got made as opposed to remastered. It's not like they took the original stuff and said
right.
let's whatever. It had to be remade to look like this, and so
Okay.
it's still the same game.
But
Yeah.
at the core, you're still playing the same game.
At the core, you're still playing the same game,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and yeah,
And you're paying $70 for a game that even though it looks substantially better, you kind of played it already.
if you did
Uh,
play it already,
if
yes.
you did play it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That I just wanted to establish that. You know,
Oh yes,
Demon
I would be
Souls.
okay with paying $70 for this remake.
Uh,
If
I,
it was a remaster, on the other hand, then I'd be like, okay, guys, now, now we're being a little silly here.
yeah, I will not. I will not pay $70 for this. I'll wait for a sale at that point.
No, I would do because
I
I
don't
like
consider this a new game to warrant
well, I never
that.
played the first one, so to me, it's still a new game. You know what I mean? It's still something I have never played. I didn't get into any of the Soul game until Dark Souls, the first one, which was the game that came after this, and was also but it was multi-platform as opposed to Demon Souls, which is owned by PlayStation. So that's when I jumped in, and we all know that the early versions of Demon Souls didn't run exactly 100% well. You know what I mean? So um, I can only guess that Demon Souls also had its share of some issues. You know what I mean? So if this game has none of those issues, first of all, I feel like I need to support Blue Point Games because man, does Blue Point Game just get it when it comes to remaking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If there was a studio that I would want Sony to buy, it would be Blue Point Games. It's just like, guys, get these guys because you have PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games, like these IPs that are dormant for God knows how long that would so benefit from a remake like this. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's where I stand on it. But I would be okay with playing it because I want to support that level of remaking. Because Blue Point also did the Shadow of Colossus. So
they did a really good. That's fair.
an excellent game.
That's a fair argument. They do actually. I mean, if they're taking the time to rebuild all this for the fans, and God knows there are fans of the Demon Soul games, or the actual Demon Soul game. Sorry, because there's only one. By all means, same thing if they were to do that with Bloodborne. Could you imagine Bloodborne remaster? Not a remaster, remake. Now I got my R's confused. See, that's the problem. There's too many R's in this shit. Anyway, this whole thing to talk about the fact that Sony was discussing the possibility of bringing games over $70, and a few executives confirmed that to Bloomberg. They wanted to remain anonymous, of course, for understandable reasons. They don't want to get fired. And then we all know how this ended up. The not only did it not jump over $70, but even not all the games that are first party are necessarily $70. Spider-Man's Mike Morales, for example, is launching at $50.
Yeah, but that's also considered because it's more of a spin-off as opposed to a true sequel. Miles Morales.
I mean, honestly, I will still give him credit because knowing how things are and how companies are, and I'm sorry, but it's not like Sony's is not capable of something like this. They could have actually sold it for $70 and people would have bought it because it's the Spider-Man on PS5 on a launch console, and the launch console it's it's gonna sell it. Whatever crap comes, if it's I'm not that I'm saying that Spider-Man is crap, but anything that comes on the first wave of launch titles is gonna sell because people are gonna want to play
They're
games on
hungry.
next
They're
gen.
hungry for games. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So they could have actually, they could have charged even $60 at the very least. They could have charged $60 because why not?
Well, here's why not. Because the game on PlayStation 4, which is
Mm.
the same game, is $40, and so that
Okay,
that basically tags it.
it's not the PlayStation 4 version. We're talking about PlayStation 5 version.
No, I know,
Higher
but that's what I'm
console.
saying. The true, but if it's the same game, and basically what I'm trying to say is that it's like it's the what is that? Oh God, the one from Uncharted, the Uncharted Lost Legacy, right?
Okay,
So
right.
Lost Legacy was supposed to be a downloadable thing that was supposed to be an additional thing and ended up expanding into its own game, but it was still a side project, so it was only $39.99 when it came out. It was $40, and that's exactly what this started out to be. And Miles Morales, and so that's why the only reason it's 50 is because it is on next gen. So it's saying, hey guys, on next gen, everything is moving up a notch.
It's
You know what
moving,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Your main primary, AAA titles, they're going to be $70. And
Mhm.
those spin-offs that we do every so often with our first party, they'll be cheaper, but they're also going to be more than your normal. So they'll be at 50. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah,
just moving the notch is what it looks like to me.
yeah.
And so yeah. So but yeah, you're right. Could they have sold it for $60? Perhaps, but I think they they honestly knew that this was not the sequel. You know what I mean? And because of that, it just justified not having, because especially this, it's using the same city and everything. They obviously upgraded and did what they had to do with the city, but
Right.
um, it's not a new map. You know what I mean? It's not a new. It's just a new storyline and some additional, and obviously a new character and all this of it. But it would have felt wrong, and I think that's a smart thing not to charge for that. Again, that's like
Yeah.
Lost Legacy saying, "Hey, this is Lost Legacy," which is the spin-off of Uncharted 4. Yeah, this is $60, but it's only
Gotcha.
a 12-hour game as opposed to Uncharted 4, which was 20 hours. Okay,
Gotcha.
not that
Yeah.
not that length equals value or anything like that, but for some people it does, and I'm sure they see that.
Well, in the
You know what
sense
I mean?
that if you're not bring, I mean, if you are reusing the assets that you already put together, uh, yes, we have seen companies that they don't give a shit. They would,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps we have grown jaded, or certainly I have grown jaded enough to see the the level of the
What was that?
wherewithal of just charging 70 $60 for a game that should have, I mean, fuck, Ubisoft's what was that title, that that Far Cry. They did a couple of Far Cry that were not the number Far Cries, but
Mm-hmm.
they were based on the previous Far Cry
Yeah,
that
yeah,
came out.
yeah.
They
Based
had
on the
one.
power engine, the
Yeah, yeah.
Blood
They charged full
Dragon.
price for that shit.
Yeah, Blood Dragon was the perfect one because that was $15,
That was fifteen
and
dollars. Yeah.
that was so smart, and also the only Far Cry I've ever played to completion. Excuse me, only Far Cry I've ever played. Period. Addendum. Also, the only one I've gone to completion. so basically, the only one I've played and the only one I completed. But since then, again, being a company, they're like, oh, hey, we can do this and we can whatever. What was that? I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was a Star Wars game that the first one was pretty good, and then the second one came out and it was obviously short of, and of course this is EA because fuck EA. Oh God, what the hell was the name of it? It was Star Killer. What was his name? Star Killer.
Oh, the Star Wars, the Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. So Force Unleashed, first one, well received, exactly what you wanted. They wanted to flip a sequel quickly. You got a Force Unleashed 2, which was much quicker that came out. And on top of that, they obviously shortchanged in many sections. The most infamous one was a level where you just walk through. That was the entire level. So clearly, And of course, by the way, it was a sequel, number sequel, so it was sold at a premium. It was sold at a full $60 or whatever the price was at the time. So that's that bullshit. So you're right. You can get jaded from stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I think that you have some companies who are smart enough to know and go, this is not going to feel like the full sequel they want. We can't charge the same thing here. However, since we are going into new price modeling, we also don't need to shortchange ourselves there either. So if we're already going to move the line for your $60 title to 70, then we can also move this line as well.
That's my last piece, sir.
Oh, okay. So, all right, guys. Well, hang out with us a little bit, and we'll be right back with our hot topic.
Hot topic.
We're back, guys, with our hot topic of the week.
Hot topic! Man, it's late now, and I'm yelling. My wife's gonna come through that window like the Kool-Aid man. It's gonna be like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, she might. She might.
I better.
So
not.
Yeah, hot topic of the week.
I might have eventually call my wife fat, and that's not true at all. I do apologize. We should probably edit this entire part. And we're back, guys, with our hot topic of the week. Hot topic.
Hot topic again, guys. How persistent will persistent games be in the next gen? So we have sort of a list here, but these are of the major titles that we know.
Major
are
persuasion.
Yeah, major what? Persuasion.
I didn't know that we were limiting it to like. I didn't know why would we not include a title like what's the barrier of entry for this list?
Well, I think the barrier entry.
Mobile games. Well, no. We're not including mobile games.
We're definitely not including mobile games. Although what's the Genshin Impact? That
we need to talk about Genshin.
Yeah,
we need to talk about Genshin Impact.
Yeah, that's definitely one that is within
that transcends because it's mobile. I mean, it's not primarily mobile, but it is available mobile for you to play if you want.
The only difference is it's not multiplayer; it is a single player game. That's the only thing I guess the only real difference. But
I will still consider a game as service because it's still a persistent. Yeah. It's definitely a persistent world.
Yeah.
No, why don't we open up with that one since that seems to be the most recent example?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
being that it's so new, and being that it's a free game, I think the transition to I think the transition to next gen is fairly easy for that game.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's also new. And it's obviously being that it's available in the current consoles, backward compatibility. It's not
a heavy game. It's not a heavy game that necessarily have to, like this game runs well on console on last gen consoles. It's so weird.
You mean current gen consoles? Yes. Okay.
Sorry, the next generation started already. I know. Every new generation.
7 years ago, we had this.
You want to deny the fact that there is a new generation. You're like denying it. Like you see the results, and you're in denial. Like nope. I'm still right.
Have you know?
I'm still right. If only that sounds like a familiar statement. Like I've seen that happen, but I might be having deja vu. But I don't know.
Yeah. It could be, but I will have you know that I do recognize it. But anyway, Genshin Impact, I think it's a lock for being successful in the console transition. So that's essentially what we want to do is who's on the verge of like not making the transition, or at that point just losing their player base, because once you get into the new consoles, next gen, whatever, current gen, however you want to talk. Once you get into that, it's all about the new experiences. and so
Mm.
some of these games can take a hit. But I think Genshin Impact is so new and again free, or at least free to start. That
It's
I
free
don't
to
think it.
play. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's undoubtedly the quintessential definition of a free to play game. The fact that it is very generous at first doesn't mean that almost at the end game is when they say, "Oh shit, now here's the wall." Like it gives you can play a whole fucking lot of that game, but when it's time to go to the end game, that's when you start feeling the wall. At least that's like every review that I've seen, on it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that one's a lock. Along with that, since we're kind of on the free to play ticket,
Mm.
I think Apex Legends is another one that I think it's still fairly new compared to a lot of these other ones, and I think would make the trade again being free to play,
Oh
unless
yeah.
that changed. Yeah, I think that
No,
hasn't
no, no.
changed. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's they rack money through the not season passes.
The
What's
battle
the other
passes. Yeah,
word?
the
The
battle
battle passes.
passes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the battle seasons. No, the battle passes are big. Obviously, we know this is generating a lot of revenue for EA, and
They're on
I
season
it,
7 now. So
there
yeah,
are season set. Yeah, look at that. And that game came out what 3 years ago, maybe.
I want to say
Um,
yeah.
and I can definitely see it. Even though I don't think anything has been announced that we know of, uh, I definitely see as a lock to is making the transition. And keeping in mind that when we say making the transition, we mean like, oh, it's going to have an officially native, Xbox Series X version or PS5 version of it. Not, oh, I'll be able to play it backwards compatible. Because yes, you'll be able to play it backwards compatible, and probably be enough, right?
Yeah.
Because
But
it'll
also I
it'll
want to
run
yeah, but also I
better.
want to focus on the fact that I believe that the player base will remain strong as well.
Yeah.
That's the other
Okay.
portion of it, and I think it's everywhere. It's also free. I can see them definitely making a next gen, current gen, whatever you want to call it, version of it. Although EA hasn't said anything about it yet, neither has uh, Respawn.
Mm.
But yeah, so I think those two are definitely locked in there. Um, let's take a look here. Anything
Let's see.
stand out on your radar as to not making the transition? I've got one in mind. I don't know if you have one that you want to drop in there real quick.
Not making the transition. I can think of, and it hurts me to admit it, but I don't think Division 2 will make the jump to next gen. Not nor would it keep the the player base that it has. I believe it should not be surprised that this game unfortunately has not retained the the player base that it was hoping to keep. It's not bad. It's still a game that is very well played, but it's you are I will argue that this is a game that Ubisoft wanted to put at the level of numbers of like Destiny, perhaps,
Hmm.
to declare it to be, successful. And I don't think that I don't think it will happen. I don't see it happening. Again, saying too bad because I'm actually a big fan of the Division 2. I like its gameplay, and I also think they have done enough improvements. In no way is perfect, but they have done enough improvements to like the loot, which used to be problematic in a game, which is based in real life, and there's only certain amount of ways that you can make something that is based on quote unquote reality, if it's a little bit of futuristic reality, uh make your loot be cool, or be distinctive enough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And
It's not like it.
this one, I think the division has always kind of had that especially I've only played Division 1 for the record, which we actually played together.
No, that's not true.
Um,
You play Division 2.
did I?
Yeah,
Was
that
that
was the
was
version that we were playing. Yeah, the one that we
was
played
Division
together was
2? Oh,
Division 2.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, there
Yeah,
you
you
go.
never played the first one.
So yeah, so I did play a little bit of Division 2, guys. How about that? That's how memorable it was. But no, there's a certain level of just not mediocre. It's just it's because it's not a mediocre game.
It felt
What I'm trying to say is it's
bland,
just
maybe.
yeah, bland. It's just you got your soldier and you have your normal soldier weapons and all this stuff.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where I don't think it has the staying power. And to transition all that over, as opposed to what Ubisoft probably wants to do, and that is Division 3, because I
Oh, I
can
love
see
a
that
Division
being
3.
something. Yeah, I can kind of see that being their move as opposed to support, like completely moving
Supporting
this
this.
over. Yeah,
That
yeah.
yeah, I also agree by the looks of it, and and, and I'm thankful that the games seem to have been successful. Like I would say that by all accounts, the game warrants and merits its sequel. It certainly has has done well enough to at least get that, and we already know that games doesn't necessarily have to do super fantastic for Ubisoft to make a sequel on them. Also, Ubisoft, that should say it all. Of course, we're gonna get a
Yeah,
Division
yeah, yeah,
Three,
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
but um, yeah, I can definitely see your points. Like the premise is the premise is actually quite interesting, especially in this in this unprecedented days that we live in. Trademark. Um, the execution of the story is kind of lacking, and to be honest, that's not what a lot of people that play this type of games are looking for. For the most part, when you're playing with your friends, like when we were playing together, you can't deny we were having a good time with it, to the point where we were planning on seeing each other playing. We were making plans, which we rarely do. I mean,
Mhm.
we didn't follow on like the third time, but at least I want to say a couple of times we at least we were playing. We were having fun with it, but
Yeah, it was
was any
enjoyable.
of us?
It was
Yeah, it was
enjoyable.
enjoyable when you put it on the scheme of playing with your friends. But while you playing, were you paying attention to what was happening to the story, to the narrative? Uh, I don't think
No, but
so.
it's not. Yeah, it's. I think it falls within those type of games where it's more about the objectives as opposed to a narrative overall. So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I
I
think
wish it wasn't, but you're right.
yeah, I think that's definitely one that will. They're not going to, and definitely because I feel like they're going to just go with the next one. Another
Mhm.
one which is a little bit of a mystery to me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I feel that it will in some way come over, but not in the same way that we thought. Overwatch is a game that
Mm.
I know there was a time it was just something that was spoken about all the time. Hell,
Mhm.
you had the Overwatch League. I think the Overwatch League is still there. I'm not even entirely
Yeah.
sure, to be honest with you.
No, no, no.
Um,
Over amongst the fan, just because we're not exposed to it doesn't mean it's not there. It's definitely
oh, it's still there.
going
Okay, good.
strong.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going strong. I mean, we're not in it
Have they
because
introduced any new characters?
I believe they have. I believe
Okay,
they have.
okay.
Also, yes, I wholeheartedly believe. Actually, I will go as far as to say I know for a fact that Overwatch will make the jump to next gen, and it has, because the player base it's there.
Mm,
Number one, and number two, because Overwatch 2, it's really Overwatch. It's basically what Destiny 2 is to Destiny.
mm.
It's kind of like what Overwatch 2 it is to Overwatch. So you have the same characters that you know and have played before, and they're introducing new characters. So in a
Yeah,
way, they're
looking over
putting
it
a
now,
number.
there's a few.
Yeah, yeah, they're putting a number for marketing reasons, but in reality, this is the new season basically of Overwatch.
Yeah.
In a
Okay.
way, and of
Well,
course.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know because I was just like, it's just been one of those things that have just, I mean, hello, one of our fellow co-hosts, Chaos Reaper. I don't even think he's played it. He used to play that bad boy all the time. I think Mrs.
Yeah.
Reaper also played it. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're into it because I'm not even. Hello, Reaper. That's it's you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
the
That was
characters from
basically his
there.
game. You know what I mean? So it might as well have been a
Oh,
story
you're
about him.
stereotyping
Yeah,
now? I think you're stereotyping, sir. Just because
maybe a
his
little bit.
name is Reaper doesn't mean that he plays Overwatch, all right? Or he
The
has
I
to play
mean,
Overwatch.
no, not necessarily, but everything kind of led to that. All signs pointed that way, but no.
All signs
Um,
point to, yeah.
yeah, but realistically, it was just one of those things where I have not heard so long about it, and it's you know what, it's probably very similar to in this case. Oh gosh, is it Rainbow Six? Yeah, Rainbow Six
Oh,
Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege,
Rainbow Six Siege,
yes.
where it has this thriving community that I'm completely disconnected from. I didn't even realize that that's still happening. It took me a while to realize it was such a big thing, and now obviously it is.
Uh,
I can definitely. That's another one where I don't see why they wouldn't carry it over. It has a thriving community.
it does, it does. And Rainbows, I want to say that it is getting an update, actually. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if let's see. We can't give you. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We can give you a date. We can give you a date.
Well, they say that they're getting a
Uh,
series as an Xbox Series and PlayStation 5
yeah,
update and
update
no additional cost. So
there.
that's definitely going to make it easier for. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
and
here
so
we
yeah,
go. Here we go. It features 4K and 120 frames per second and more. So yeah, definitely we can put that one in. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege has been incredibly successful for Ubisoft. So again, we just have to look at those games that we know that not bringing them or just leaving them on the previous generation will be will be a loss for the
for the
publisher.
company.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. And that's definitely
yes.
one. I just wasn't sure about Overwatch because I just felt like, man, I have not heard anything about Overwatch. I remember I was on where did I go? I was going to Phoenix.
Don't worry, because the next BlizzCon is gonna be free. You're gonna be able to put it
To
online.
watch. Yeah, to get all the updates. All right, there you go.
You get all the info there.
There you
you
go.
get your you get your Overwatch full.
Yeah, for sure. So all right, let's get the big one of the big dogs out of the way. Destiny 2, sir. I think that's a lock.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
for yeah,
That's announced already,
yeah.
and that's I know Series X might already have the pad, but I could be talking out my ass. I apologize, I don't have an X, but yes, obviously that's a game that just this week had its newest expansion,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
now
Oh yeah,
uh
yeah, that's right. But was it Beyond Two Souls?
beyond
No, no, it's
beyond
Beyond something.
fuck
Beyond
Destiny
Light,
to
Beyond Light.
Beyond Light. There you go. Now, to mix result, I kind of posted the question on the group, and I didn't hear a lot of enthusiasm. A lot, they didn't have a lot of answers. I was curious of how people were finding the game to be, because to me, Destiny expansions have always been kind of more of the samey. Like,
Hmm.
oh, these are the same. This is the what was the name of the enemies? That shows you how long have the Forsaken. That's not the Forsaken. The whatever, the Hive
One of the
or
enemies, yeah,
whatever.
the Hive. Yeah.
It's the same enemies, and they are just reskinned versions of them. But they still attack the same, and sure, they have different hit points now. But it's still you're still fighting the same enemies, and it was a shame because it seems like what people wanted to see from Bungie separating from Activision was the opportunity to go like crazy there with the with the story, probably with the enemies, with the lore. Not that the lore was crazy already crazy enough, but they definitely wanted to see something different, and they were hoping to get something exciting. And I think a lot of people put their hopes on this expansion, uh, which is kind of weird because this expansion is relatively close to the day. Like they must have been working on this before they split from Activision. I would think. Could be wrong, but I would think.
I would think
You
so.
know,
I mean, the time frame. I would think so. I
yeah.
would think so. Yeah.
But the early reports that I've seen from people that have played it is that, oh, it's an expansion not unlike any other expansion that we have seen before, from prior. And
Yeah. Okay.
supposedly there's a a new player experience, but
Oh.
I would
Okay.
I wouldn't know. I'm almost curious to jump back in just to see what's changed. But not a lot of enthusiasm, and the reviews have been kind of lukewarm on it. It's
Okay.
like, oh, it's the same enemies again. They
I
look
mean,
different.
how
A new
much?
planet, which is
Yeah.
cool, and then the
Without
Cosmodrome.
changing, like redoing the entire game. I mean, how much really can you extract? Can you extract out of that? You know what I mean?
That's when
At
you
some point.
add different, the different enemy types
Yeah, but I mean,
and
that's what they're doing, and they're doing as much as they can within the
see they
the
don't. It
frame of
doesn't.
the.
It doesn't look like they are though, because people the complaints that I've seen from reviews is that, oh, these are the Hive but with a different skin, which is what they did for Forsaken, which is what they did for like almost every Destiny expansion. It's like
Mm,
there's really nothing new. It's that we're still fighting the same enemies. Uh, but at the same time, that game is successful. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
far, it hasn't stopped people for playing it. People are not leaving it, you know, and that's why I think it'll stay. That's why I think
Oh, it definitely
it's going
will.
to
It's
next
going to
gen.
have its because it has its hardcore. I just feel that as time is going by, less and less of that hardcore are sticking with it.
Yeah,
I know Chaos is one of the players of it, but I don't know how much he plays of it anymore. So I mean, who knows?
yeah.
But yeah, definitely it's making the transition, and it'll keep some of its player base. But I don't know, without something major, that game can start to look very old on next gen quickly. So I don't know. I don't know about that. But
Hmm.
here's an interesting one that I think we can both agree is another one. Actually, I should have probably brought this up earlier with the free to plays, and that is Warframe. Uh, that's
Oh,
I think right now they've got a huge player count from what I saw recently, so I don't think that's going away. I didn't hear anything as far as free updates. Do we know? Let me take a look here because I
it's
had the
probably
list
gonna
up.
be it's probably a patch. It's another case where it's a free to play game. Making a next gen version of it doesn't really change a lot. You're not making drastic changes to the code base.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I can see Warframe having its ESPS5 and Xbox Series X debut. I don't think it's necessarily a major priority because
Yeah.
we haven't heard anything about, or have we? I mean, did you look for it?
Well, Warframe is scheduled to release on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, so it's
Oh, there you
coming
go.
with a release. Um,
Does it have a date?
Again, it's just the question is the player base, and I don't know. I mean, you know who would answer this question right here would be definitely Chaos.
No,
See,
I did.
he was a huge Warframe player, and if
Yeah.
he is fallen through the wayside, then you can say that probably some of them have, but
It
I don't
doesn't
know.
have Destiny numbers, for example, but I'm sure
No,
it's doing fine. I think. I mean, I think it's doing fine. I think it's. I mean, they're expanding on it still, so yeah, I have no reason to not think that that game will remain. It'll still be there.
Warframe viable.
Yeah.
Uh, Monster Hunter, sir. Monster Hunter World. What do we think about this one? This is
Mo-
an interesting one because I thought about it and I was like, I didn't even like immediately think that this would be one of the games that we're talking about. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess
yeah.
it is. When you look at all the what's involved, it's like, yeah, I guess it would be.
Um.
I really loved Monster Hunter World when I played it,
Yeah.
but I've fallen to the wayside after the 125-hour mark and never went back.
Jesus,
Uh,
125 hours. I forgot that this game
yeah,
was a
yeah,
darling of yours
yeah. Oh yeah,
for a
this was
long
a
time.
really, really, really
Holy
fun
shit!
game.
Who would have
Nothing.
thought?
I, me either. I mean,
You
I just yeah.
and a gas game. And a games of service game. Who would have thought
Well,
120?
the whole deal, like I said.
That's a Ramiro level of commitment to a game.
No, no. Ramiro's in the thousands. Come on now. This is a
Yeah, that's
drop in the
true.
bucket compared to
That's
that.
true.
You
That's
know what I mean?
absolutely true. Yeah.
But no,
Shout out to
this
Ramiro.
yeah, for real. Yeah, shout out to Ramiro. This is definitely an interesting one, and I don't know. The last expansion they had was Iceborne. That's already a couple years old. I don't see anything
Yeah.
new, and looking over, I don't see anything planned. So Capcom hasn't really mentioned anything as far as next gen for it. So
There's a version
maybe
coming
that's
for
it.
the Switch. I don't know if we can put it at the same at the same level, but
No, not even close.
that's the latest. That's
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
He says absolutely not. I will not. He
yeah,
said.
yeah. No, 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 no. Uh,
um.
I don't know. I don't think honestly. I think this may fall by the wayside. I think Capcom may say, "All right, time to make a Monster Hunter World 2 or whatever the next one's going to be called."
Time to make the
Uh,
donuts. Yeah. No.
yeah.
I Monster Hunter 2. The okay. So content for Monster Hunter 2, I think is Monster Hunter World. What the hell are we saying Monster Hunter 2? What the hell? Did
I
you say
said
that?
Monster. I said I think they're going to leave this one in its current in the current consoles, and obviously you can probably play it backwards compatible in the
Yeah.
meantime. But I don't think they're going to like spend anything on bring it into the new one because I feel that they're going to do a new Monster Hunter World,
Yeah, exact.
Monster Hunter
Yeah,
World 2. That's why I said
2.
that, or whatever
Ah,
they
okay.
call it. Yeah,
Yeah. Monster Hunter World. The content for Monster Hunter World is it's done. With Iceborne, I think
yeah.
it's
Iceborne. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I think I mean I heard nothing but good things about that. And the it has lived its life. I would say yes. You'll be able to play this game. You'll be able to play this game for a while because it's not. I don't see Capcom just closing the servers on it. Immediately.
No,
I
not if
do
it has a
believe
base. Yeah,
no, and it still does. I don't think that's a game that they bring to PS5 and Xbox Series X because the like
they don't need to.
the impulse have to come from the motivation has to be monetary, and if it's not there and the play and this is out could be considered an older game now, a great game, but it has its long legs already. I think they just put it to pass, not close it. Sorry, I think they
Just let it
put it
run it.
aside
Yeah, mhm. Let it run its
and
course, basically.
let it run its course. Exactly. Whoever wants to play it, okay, on PS5 could just backwards compatible on it, and just bring Monster Hunter World 2, just like you said.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of games I really want to kind of fly through, which are obvious. I don't think that we need to spend any major time on it, and that's of course Fortnite. That's gonna
Yeah.
obviously make the transition.
Fortnite
Minecraft
has
is
ray
another
tracing
one.
now, so
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Minecraft
there you go.
has ray tracing now,
Yeah,
so
because God knows that needs it. Um,
hey,
you
hey,
know,
hey, hey. It looks
hey,
they look amazing, and
I'm
for the fans, that's a big
sure.
win on
I'm happy
Minecraft. I
for the
don't know
fans.
if yeah
I'm happy for
for
the
the yeah for the
yeah.
fans, yeah they get a nice version of Minecraft. Dude, it's all right. Minecraft is
Yeah.
good. You know what? It never got us, but I have to admit, Minecraft is. I mean, it was definitely a revolutionary game of its time, and it hasn't
No,
been
for sure,
equal
for
yet.
sure.
It
Yeah,
hasn't been equal
I
yet. So
I don't want to discredit that from it, but it's just not. I mean, it's not for me, and
yeah, right.
it's not for a lot of people. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
um,
it is for a lot of people. And you
you know,
consider how that
yeah,
game gets played and where
it's for
everywhere
most
it's just
people.
not for us.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But there are a
Yeah,
large amount of people who are going to go look at it and go, yeah, I don't want any part of that. So,
yeah. But
um,
there's a much larger amount of
oh
mainstream
dear
that are like
Lord, yes, I know.
totally yes.
I'm still standing by that. A lot of people don't like that game. Shoo.
If you want to believe that, whatever helps you sleep better, bro.
I guess so. I guess so. I just don't get it. That's what it comes down to. I just don't get it.
Uh,
I feel like Tom Hanks in the movie Big when he raises his, I don't know if you saw this movie, he raises his hand. I don't
yeah,
get it.
big yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So, anyway, Rocket League I think is another one. There's no word apparently of a next gen port at the
Mm,
moment, but I don't
I
see that
think
not happening. Oh, you
I
think this one's
I
going to get cut?
I think I don't see Rocket League jumping because it doesn't
Wow.
need to. It doesn't need to. Whoever wants to play, whoever's playing Rocket League still, um, it's there's no advantages to bringing in the next gen. I mean, yeah, sure, okay. They could make a patch for it, and now the it can run at 120 frames per second. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
It's going free to play though. I feel like
It has
once
been
it goes
free to play for a
no,
while now.
I literally just read that. Hold on. It will get cross
Check the year.
progression when it goes free to play.
What?
This is
What's it?
from a September 11th article. So
Oh,
I don't know.
okay. So that close. Okay. So if the plans are there, then yeah, I can see. Okay. All right. So I changed my tune then,
That's fine. That's fine.
but only if you admit that Minecraft is a huge. No, kidding.
And you
Go
know
go.
what? Rocket League's not making it.
Such a hater. You hate Minecraft.
No. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like the Kardashians. I don't get why they're pop. Why? Why are they so fucking pop? They're just freaking people. Anyway, moving on.
Play it, sir. And you still
Yeah.
don't get it.
So yeah. So I want to lean on a few titles that are here but are just hanging on for dear life. And I want to start with one that I am literally on their website right now and have been for 10 minutes and is still cycling to try to get me to the main menu. And that is
Holy shit! So that means that
Fallout
it's still.
76.
Oh wow! I didn't know there was such a high demand for it.
I don't think
Sir,
that's what it is.
of
I think the team behind it just they're asleep at the wheel somewhere.
sir, of course that's happening. That's coming to to next gen. Um,
No,
whether we
it
want it or
is because
not.
I think they well, let me see because Bethesda's only confirmed Doom and ESO.
That's
So
true.
I don't know
Yeah,
where
they have.
Fallout 76 is with their player count, but it cannot
Yeah.
be high at all.
No,
You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I was just thinking more on the fact that hey, Microsoft just acquired them. What's the easiest thing that they could do to put some games on its on the X? Let's just bring File 76. Sure, why not? Just put a
I
patch on it. Just
mean,
whatever.
it should be on there, but I think even at Microsoft is like, look, we'll bring it to Game Pass, but you're gonna need to fix it a little bit, guys. Just fix it
You
a
just need
little
to
bit.
spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously that game it's it has a it's different enough from when it was out, and they could relaunch it. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be successful, honestly. And the reason I say, oh, they could probably bring it to the next gen is honestly, I'm thinking just a Xbox, and only because it wouldn't be that difficult to say, hey, we made a patch for it, but we're not adding any we're not adding anything particularly exciting to it.
yeah.
We're not
Anything
adding
major?
any extras. It's just, hey, those resolutions that are there that the previous gens couldn't run, we'll just make them run
A
on
little
this
better.
version now a little
Yeah,
better. That's it.
you'll see at least half, if not more,
Yeah.
less, or rather, you see at least 50% less T poses by accident, and you'll be fine. And that will be
Fallout
their next
76
gen
down with
version.
less T poses. No, you know
Yeah,
what? I changed my tune. That game's just gonna die out.
it
Terrible
should
death.
die out. That's all I'm saying. It really should die out. It really just needs to stop. I'm shocked. It's still a thing. Well, people are playing it, guys. Seriously,
But they
seriously.
released
You have
they released
better
that
things in your
patch.
life.
They released that patch of that has NPCs now. So it's a
No, fuck
different
that.
game. It's a Fallout game.
How you Fallout 4? You'll be fine. You don't need this. You don't need this bullshit. You don't need this.
Listen,
Even Bethesda's like, look, we don't even. We need more server space, guys. Come on, we don't need this game anymore. Let's just move on. It was a fun time that we enjoyed back in 2018, but we've moved on.
Todd Howard. Todd Howard. Todd
Another
Howard.
one that we need to talk about, and of course we're going to talk about, and that is of course Anthem, because Anthem is also apparently coming to next gen. BioWare has announced that it plans on giving the loot shooter a complete overhaul following the Anthem's rocky launch. Excuse me. Next gen console ports haven't been announced yet, so I don't know, bro. They're already spending way more time on this game than they even need to. Than anyone is really asking them to.
And therefore, they are gonna bring it to next gens, because why the fuck would they not? At this point, that is their saving grace. Think of it this way: they want to mimic what Square Enix was able to do with Final Fantasy XIV, and Final Fantasy XIV originally was a shit show. It was the quintessential definition of a bad game, and it just became this swan song. Suddenly, it's Final Fantasy XIV. It's an amazing MMO, second most played MMO, and racking the numbers for Square Enix. The money, that is. EA believes, or BioWare, or EA through BioWare, or BioWare believe that they had something special with Anthem. And to be fair, the idea of it was spot on. That when that game was shown, people were excited about what they saw. Definitely playing as the characters. But
we're past the newlywed part of this one. We already know what we have.
Totally. But it's same thing happened with No Man's Sky, which we're gonna mention, I guess, in a moment. People thought that game was dead, like dead, and I mean, look at it now. So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying, hey, if someone can do it, BioWare can, because BioWare has shown that it cannot. However, their hopes are bringing it to this console, to this next gen console, and reworking it out like they're doing it. You're saying, oh, they're spending a lot of money, a lot of time. It's because I believe they think they have something special. Whether I believe it or you believe it, that's something else. But this game still has the potential to turn heads if suddenly what they release is something differently enough to where, oh, actually this game is fun now. And don't tell me that can't happen, because it happened to fucking No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it happened to No Man's Sky, and I understand that, but No Man's Sky,
and that's a smaller group.
I was just going to say there was a smaller group, and they literally have no option. Leave the business of video game making or fix your game. Because
you're talking about BioWare, bro. BioWare is exactly on the same spot. Either this succeeds, or you guys are fucking done.
That may be the case, but the difference is you're working on a different time frame here. These guys, No Man's Sky had, it took years. Why? Because it's just them. You know what I mean? It's just like we have no choice. No one's funding it. No one's giving them. I think actually I think somebody did give him money at some point, but outside of that, it was just them working on it. EA at this point is basically looking over them, going, guys, you need to fix this, and you have until here to fix it. And if it's not fixed, and I don't know if you saw some of the recent like screenshots and stuff like that, they're reworking it, but they're reworking it, and it looks like Destiny. It looks like just like Destiny.
It looks it basically looks like, well, if you can't beat them, join
Dude,
them.
that is. I don't
It
know if that
does.
would. I don't know if that. It looks a lot. I don't know if that's going to be successful for them. I don't know if that is a
No, no.
huge mistake.
It'll have to
Um,
be. It's not an interface problem that the game has. This game had a gameplay problem, and they will have to revamp the loot system in a way that is actually good. They will need to make this game. It's literally the Final Fantasy 14 transformation level,
yeah,
and
that's the way. That's the
they're
only
thinking
way.
they could do it. They're thinking they could do it. I wish them luck. I will. You know what? For all the shit that I talk about Anthem being like a colossal, failure, because it was literally
Yes,
a
it is.
colossal
Yeah,
failure.
it is.
Nothing will make me happier than to see them deliver the game that people wanted, that people were like, oh shit, this is fun. Because I like, as far as the shell of it, like the what do you call those, the your character basically,
Mhm.
it was cool, it looked cool. uh there's a potential for an interesting world, even though the lore was shit because they honestly didn't have enough to work with. But if they revamp that and they can make the looting interesting, the flying is already interesting. So they got that nailed, and Destiny does not have that. So
No, it
if
doesn't.
they can have that and deliver something close to the Destiny levels, that's I'm not gonna say mediocre in the sense that, because obviously people are having fun with it. So if they can deliver something along the lines of the fun that you get playing, Destiny, for the people that like playing Destiny, not for you and me. Um,
No,
Not that
again,
Destiny
it's
shit,
definitely
but what I'm
yeah.
trying to say is that if they can deliver on that level, then they will have a successful title. Now, it also, with that comes on how they perceive that, how the players perceive that they're respecting them. If you're gonna bring and make this game into a swan song, but then shit all over it with stupidly ridiculous uh uh loot boxes and free
Microtransactions.
to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
microtransaction trappings, then you're just gonna shit the bed on it all over again. But I like to think that, looking at the recent examples that of games that have come up from EA, as far as they're still shitting and doing the microtransactions on the forefronts that they know they can get away with it, which is sport games. Sport games, people gamble, people like to spend money. Fuck it. That's what we're gonna have. But on the single player games, not to say that this game is the Anthem is a single player game, but at least on the last two Star Wars, they have treated that with respect. Very unlike an EA game, very unlikely for EA. If they gotta know that they have to do something similar with Anthem. I mean, obviously that Anthem needs the microtransactions. It will need that to survive as a game, a service game. But maybe don't do it in a stupid way. Don't do pay to win shit. Do it close like the Destiny has been doing it, to where it's there for the people that don't mind paying it, or they have the income, but you don't feel forced to be competitive on it. You know what I mean?
No, I got you,
Uh,
man. I got you. I've said this many a times. I have a voted zero confidence in EA, and anything the EA drops. And yes, I get it. Force or Jedi, whatever the last game was.
Jedi
I
Fallen
get
Order
Jedi
and
Fallen Order.
and
Yeah,
Star Wars. Yeah, and I forgot Rogue Squadron. Thank you.
no, I'm not even talking about War Squad. I was just talking about Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen
I
Order.
get that. I get that. That was it was lightning the bottle, or just a little bit different from what they, or at least they just made a game and sold a game. You know what I mean? And they made the
Yeah.
game well. Sure,
They
I
changed
give them that.
Battlefront 2.
The
They changed Battlefront 2 because they have.
well, they had no choice.
They had no
I
choice. No,
mean,
true.
yeah,
I know. I
so
get that, but it
I
doesn't
felt
take
the
away
same
from the
thing.
fact that they did. They
I
still
just
did, and
true.
with Rogue Squadron they did also.
So still, these are moves that are being done out of force, not because there's something they want to do. And I think that Anthem is something that's more like, look, the only way we're going to, probably keep this company, BioWare, is that you make this successful in some way. This, it's just, it has to be. So, figure it out. You're gonna go back into the drawing board. Whatever you have to do, figure it out. You have to make this into the No Man's Sky, whatever. And I don't know that I think that BioWare is going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? And not that they can't. I just don't know if they're going to be able to. I don't know if EA is going to, step in or whatever. I have zero faith. And I feel like, yes, sure, they're gonna bring it to next gen. I just don't even know if the player base is there for it. I mean, can they acquire more players? Sure. I mean, if you already own the game and it's already backwards compatible, and suddenly you have this major update, and suddenly IGN and GameSpot and all these people are talking about, whoa, Anthem's back and Anthem's this. Yeah, is that possible?
That's all they
Sure,
need to.
it definitely
That's all
is.
they need to do. That's all
True, it's
to bring
possible,
you. Yeah,
but is it going to happen? No, I don't think it will.
well, you
I
just said
honestly,
it.
I want it to.
You just said it. They have no choice. They're gonna have to. And
Yeah, but if it, right now, if the game is and we'll move on from this game for the record, but if the game
no,
is
I
a
think
six,
it's a good example. This is actually this game alone was pretty much the one of the reasons why we decided to talk about it, right? Because we were gonna call
true,
this whole thing "fuck Anthem."
the well, I
That was gonna be
wasn't,
the title of our
but
hot topic. That was the
yeah.
working title.
Is it something that they can do? Is it possible? Fine, but if it's a let's say, and I don't know what the Metacritic score, but let's just an example. Let's say it was a 6, okay, and they go through all this, and suddenly it's a 7.5. Is that going to be enough? No, it's not.
A seven and a 7.5 is it's high. A
The
7.5 is
I'm not
you're
saying
talking
it's
about a
anything is low.
75%, and
Yeah,
with Destiny
75%.
being less and having more. I mean, they will have to.
Yeah, but
Here's
Destiny
the thing.
has a player base.
But Destiny was
That's what I'm trying
bad
to say.
also, and it
But it never
lost
lost the player base.
It did. Destiny, original Destiny. A lot of people drop off of it. Of course, it did not become the unmitigated disaster than this game, the Anthem was.
Yeah.
I give you that. Yes, 100%. But all they needed to do was bring something new, and for people to perceive that newness was good enough. It didn't even have to be great. It just had to be good enough, for the people that like to go back on the treadmill. And I feel like the hunger is there for people, even from Destiny players themselves, to jump into the next sci-fi gas game. And this is in a position. Anthem is on a position, and it's not that I'm defending or anything like that, but again, I'm just trying to be realist. They're in a position right now that they could achieve that. I can't think of. I mean, other than Warframe, but the Warframe people have been playing Warframe for forever. I'm saying that all they have to do
Yeah, but the game's
is
free.
just a refresh game, kind of like No Man's Sky did, or a refresh game, and that refresh is perceived to be, hey, this is good enough, and the players will go back because the game. We're a
so
fickle bunch. We're not gonna just.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
We are a fickle bunch for sure. What was Destiny's like major update? What was it called? Like the first
The
Destiny?
Forsaken. The first.
No. The first
you're talking
one.
about. You're talking about the first the expansion that brought it back together, basically.
Yeah. What was it called?
The Taken King.
The Taken King. Okay, so the Taken King. Okay, I got it here. I just wanted to see more or less what we're looking at. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So let's see. Taken King. What the hell?
But the Taken King, keep in mind, the Taken King was more of a expansion versus what this is. I would not equate it to an expansion. If anything, I will
No,
equate it
but it
more
was.
to a
But you're arguing that it was because of the Taken King that essentially like jump started the interest again. So if that's the thing,
mm,
that's why I'm using it as the example because that's what jumps. I remember, the
yeah,
Taken King's fixing a lot of the issues. It
yeah,
came out a year later.
yeah,
Literally, as it came out September 2014 was Destiny. September 2015 was the Taken King.
yeah.
That was a year later. We are going to be 2 years away from the release of Anthem by the time that they're releasing this stuff. Came out in February 2019, and we're not seeing anything from Anthem till 2021. Let's assume it's February. That's 2 years away. It just feels like it's too little, too late. You know what I'm saying? And it just feels like, yes, can they turn it around? Can they bring some people back? Sure. Can they revamp it the way these guys have revamped it? I don't think so. I just think it's too little, too late. We're way too far away from it at this point. And did probably COVID have something to do with it? Sure. Right? It's difficult to get shit done during the pandemic. Okay. That's probably why it's next year as opposed to fall of this year. You know what I mean? But the reality is time has passed. And I just don't see in any way that Anthem's going to generate that much thing to be compared to a No Man's Sky or a Final Fantasy 14 or any of the other ones. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like the ship has passed. It's just gone. Let it go. Move on into what is it? Dragon Age, the next Dragon Age that they're doing. It's just like rather put the focus on something like that than maybe putting all this money into this and really not seeing the return that you need.
Final Fantasy 14 was released in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an MMO. We didn't get a release of Reborn until 2013. That was 3 years.
Okay.
And they came back with a fucking vengeance. Huh?
People were still playing that game though. While it was still being revamped. In that time, people were still playing that game.
Not a lot of people, but people are playing. Guess what? Not a lot of people are playing Anthem, obviously, but there are still people playing Anthem. But
true.
Whether you want to read it or not.
Yeah, you're right. There obviously because if there's no one playing, then they would be like, no, never mind. Or at least I would assume they will say never mind. But again, Anthem is new. Final Fantasy is an established thing. You know what I mean? Final Fantasy 14 was not the first Final Fantasy ever. It wasn't the first MMO ever for Final Fantasy. So it already had its own cornerstone in the gaming industry. Anthem is new. Anthem didn't exist before this. It's just this thing that they created. It didn't have the history behind it.
But you're saying because of the time frame. You're saying that it's a matter of time. That time has passed. Enough time has passed to where. So what you're telling me is that if they make a good Anthem right now, the fact that it has been long enough won't make that Anthem successful.
I believe so. Yeah. I feel like
we're gonna have to bet on that one then, because I feel like if they make a good game, everybody that talks shit because it happened with No Man's Sky and it happened with Final Fantasy 14 and it's just that's gamers are not that level of stoic. I'm gonna unless it's console war, well that's something else. But when it comes to games themselves, they're not gonna be like, oh, this game is currently now having good Metacritic, a lot of rave, people are talking about it and saying how good it is. I'm not gonna play it because the first one was shit. They're not. They're gonna jump on it.
And I don't think. I don't think that's going to be the angle they come from either. But I see what you're saying. But that's not the angle I think they're going to come from. It's just going to be that it's like the same reason that I just don't get into any Assassin's Creed, because I played the first Assassin's Creed and it never even got my hooks. And Assassin's Creed is not even the same game anymore. But the name Assassin's Creed is enough for me to go, no, I'm good. And it's the same thing. Anthem's going to go, hey, Anthem's whatever. And they have the 2.0, whatever the hell they're calling it. No, I'm good. It's easy.
That's
It's an easy enough thing to for someone to say, especially if they're already in some other game as a service because that's their world.
nope, nope. That
You see
does
what I'm
nope,
saying?
nope, nope. That doesn't, because if they're playing this, if they have been playing something for a long time, and something else comes out and it's better, they're gonna jump to the better, to the better thing. I don't think whoever's playing Destiny right now, they come up with something that said, oh, guess what, this um, Anthem is good now, and they're gonna say like, ah, no, I'm fine because I still have Destiny. No, no, they're
Yeah,
gonna they're
that's
gonna jump
exactly what I
straight to it.
think.
That
That's
no, they're
exactly what
not.
I think.
They're not, because you're thinking of, because you're seeing it in your way, and this is
Perhaps,
actually
perhaps, but
this
that's
is
still, yeah,
actually
yeah.
no, no, but this is actually, and I mean it in a good way. You are a particular type of player that you can actually say that you can be like, Assassin's Creed, I didn't like it before, I'm not gonna like it now. I used to think the same thing. If you recall, and we can go podcast back, I used to think I did not care one whit about Assassin's Creed. Look at me now, and all it took is, oh, they started making them good, and it wasn't great. It's just they gave me the minimal required level for me to enjoy myself, with it. I feel like there's a lot of people that think that way. They're not gonna remember, oh, this Anthem was shit again. They have to know, this is assuming they're playing their cards right, assuming this game is gonna be good. If they
Yeah,
if
of
they're
course.
right and they assume it's good, which is high, as I know it's a high amount to big, but I'm just saying, if they happen to reach that, the game will go back, and I will put a bet on it, of a bad game. I will put that bet on a bad game, but it'll have to be under the condition that, hey, this game got a 75 on Metacritic. Uh,
I mean,
and
I
at the
think
very
I
least.
think we could honestly we could just leave that to the audience, and have them look at it and say, okay, if it when 2.0 does come out, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
how do we judge its success essentially? Is it
I mean, it
because
wouldn't be to us. It'll be, the reviewers will have a saying. But how does that? How do will that get us hyped for it, or at least interested in it? Interested
I don't know.
in it.
I
Uh,
honestly, I just like I said, I feel that it's just, and this is the whole point of the live service games is, like I said many a times, it's like the pie is only but so big, and you have these people who are entrenched into these worlds. It's like Ramiro, like we speak about Ramiro, and we say try to get him to stop playing Destiny and move over to something else. You cannot play Destiny anymore. Destiny has stopped. Period. Now I need you to come over here, play some Godfall or play whatever else. You know what I mean? It's
mhm.
just like, no, that's their world that they're constantly in, that they're constantly doing. It's just this thing. They touch base. Chaos is into it. It mentioned it all the time when he was in. He's like, no, he'll go back to Apex Legend. He'll go back to this one. He'll go back to this one,
Mhm.
and then he'll go back to Apex Legend and kind of cycle in and cycle in. And these are the world. So now you got to introduce a new game and hopefully capture those people. But the name Anthem has already been unfortunately tarnished. Can it be untarnished? Sure, it can be. But anything short of a 9.0 or higher, I just don't see it happening.
Mm-mm.
I
I
just don't
said,
see it. Now, if
with
they
a
do it
seven,
9.0, huh?
with a seven, and again, I will put a bet on it. With a
Okay,
seven, this game gets people, in the door.
okay. A
And
bet
thus,
on it is.
yeah.
We'll
And
have to.
I'm not saying it's gonna overtake Destiny. Don't misread on my
No,
thought.
no,
I'm
I'm not
saying
saying that, but
enough for it
it
to be
has to be.
successful.
Yeah, it has to
And,
be
and
something where it's not phasing out a few months
no,
later,
exactly.
and suddenly we're
Yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
in the same
It's
thing
not gonna
again.
be
So
evolved.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And to be fair, if they and we'll probably could jump to the next one if you want to, but
The last one,
EA has
actually.
been spending EA has spent a lot of money, and yes, you say, hey, they're never gonna get the revenue back. Well, guess what? If that game becomes successful and it flocks people in, they have they have the opportunity to, well, actually, they would have actually saved the franchise, which is what they wanted
Oh,
the next.
I know. Yeah, they can definitely
And if
do
they can
that.
save the franchise, then there could be the Anthem 2 or the Destiny 2 for Anthem, basically, which is the one that brings it together and it'll have its player base. And yeah, I get it. There's probably gonna be it's very stoic Ramiro gamers. But I would argue that if you give a good game to someone to try, they're not gonna say no because no, I'm good, fam. Because otherwise, we all be playing World of Warcraft still, and a lot of people are still playing World of Warcraft. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
It's
I was
like
gonna say,
we
yeah,
play our
that's
old
still
games.
happening. Yeah.
Obviously it moves. The games are here and the games roll. And yeah, I don't
No,
know. I
I think
think
it,
we have
I
both
think a
made our
name can
cases.
be, yeah, I think a name can be definitely tarnished enough to be, because it's not only was it already, I mean, it's been more time than its release, right? Because it's even before its release, there were already concerns. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know.
We all
It just
we all thought
it
about
feels,
it. We all said about the same thing about No Man's Sky. Just remember, we all
yeah,
said about the same thing about No Man's Sky.
I get it, yeah, and like I said, but not every game's No Man's Sky. Not every failed game
No,
becomes a No
true.
Man's
That's
Sky.
why I'm
So,
qualifying this heavily, which they have to make the game good. They have to make
and I'm
Anthem
saying it has to
good.
be great. Anything short of great is going to really lead right back down to the same road there.
I
Yeah,
think I think with good they'll be fine. And by being good, I mean don't fuck it up with the microtransactions and
yeah.
just
So,
make a good game.
so the last one is the new challenger in the arena, and that would be Godfall. And
Yes.
speaking of, right, this is another one that, I mean, I don't know. It looks like they took. I mean, just from the look of it, and then we've seen it enough to know what it's about. But it's obviously a Destiny like, even
So melee,
Warframe like.
melee
Yeah, you know, yeah. The difference is you got your melees, and you have your character is completely super armored, and obviously it's going to be about tricking out your character and making them look cool and blah 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 blah.
yeah.
Um, Early reviews have not been great. They've been mediocre, I guess, at best.
Hmm.
But that doesn't really mean anything,
Hmm.
because so was Destiny, and here we are. Destiny 2 still there. Division, I think, also the first Division also came out at a mediocre-ish review, maybe good, somewhere around the seven, six fives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and here it is, Division 2. We're still here. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad for this. The only thing that I know is that this is on PC and PlayStation 5 only. So your audience is already kind of cut a little bit here for that, because it's not on Xbox, any Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5 is the only console,
Mm.
because it's not on PlayStation 4. It's not meant for to be on PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5s are difficult to get. And then on top of that, by the time, let's say it takes me to April, and let's say I'm interested in this game, and suddenly I jump into the game in April, and suddenly I'm getting my ass handed to me, because guess what? People have had it for 6 months and they've been playing the game pretty pretty well.
So,
You know what I mean? So
hold on. Is this game? I know, other from what I've seen on the reviews, and to be fair, I only looked at the numbers. Is it does it have a single player component?
no, well, it has a story component. And I mean, it's not single player. Single player? No, I don't think it's a
Like I'm
single player
thinking like
component.
this, okay, but no, but I'm thinking maybe not single player, but like a campaign. Does it have like a level? Because that's your entryway,
A
right?
story campaign?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, it has to,
okay,
because if it doesn't have a story campaign, then what are these cutscenes for?
that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So it has to
I
have a
wanted to
story
make sure
campaign.
that we have parity with if we're gonna be comparing with Destiny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, the Godfall, it's not having its best debut. It's certainly not hot garbage. It's not, and
No, no.
I feel like it's another game that will benefit. It's gonna have its growing pain, but if it's benefiting already from the fact that it is a launch title for a console that
Hmm.
many people are getting in. just almost by proxy, it's one of the games that you will obtain along with Spider-Man. For those who
It's a
don't know,
pretty game too.
it is
Yeah,
a pretty
it's a
game.
very
Which
good. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and and I feel like those people are not gonna be super mega critical of it because it's they're gonna find it enjoyable and it may be a little repetitive at some point, yes, but by the time they notice, they would have already obviously bought the game and have it and
Mhm.
played enough of it and got what they want. So it is you have to review it on its state now. That's completely understandable. Yes, but I feel like that's another game that we have to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's too early. It is a game that has a potential to become good. It's we all like to shit on me included. I love to shit on Gearbox, but
For sure.
let us remember that Gearbox, at least to me, uh, they have supported a great IP, which is Borderlands. They have given it very good support on it, uh, and that's not even a games as service type of game. Certainly not in the way that, not in the traditional sense.
Mhm.
It has multiplayer.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's got a little bit of a services as well there too.
Yeah, I mean, in
Borderlands 3.
in
Yeah.
in the in the spirit of what we're discussing, like I wouldn't necessarily put it with it.
No, I
'Cause
agree. I
now I
agree.
have to
Yeah.
put all the games that have an aspect of multiplayer, and I mean, we just talk about Genshin Impact, which does not have a multiplayer element until much later on, and it's not barely one. um, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I think Godfall could become something interesting, and
I think so
dare
too.
I say special if they keep working on it and fixing some of the kinks and they listen to the community, because that's the
Yeah,
first
that's
thing.
the most important part. Yeah, you got to be one up front with your community. You got to be there to with the updates. And yeah, I mean, you do that, and you'll have a successful
Yeah, there's some
franchise.
potential here because
Yeah.
it's another game that, looking at it, it makes when you look at it, it looks pretty. It's the anthem of anthem again. It's the game that it looks pretty. It
Hmm.
has it will attract, it does attract people, um especially considering that it's a game that you can use to showcase your brand new PS5.
For
uh
sure, because again, I mean, when you look at it, it's like it's a very, very good looking game.
yeah, yeah,
And I can only imagine on PC is also looking just as good. So, if not better. But yeah, it's I don't know. You're right. It's too early to call. I wish it luck,
hmm
and I I can almost even not want, but I can almost see maybe it toppling one or two of these that we mentioned before and taking its place because it has its. I mean, yes, sure, it does look a lot like some of the other ones, but it has its own
hmm
thing. It's melee based. So it's more like For Honor, for instance, but not For Honor, which obviously uses your older samurai and Viking and stuff like that. This is much more futuristic. I'm not even sure if it's futuristic, but it's definitely something different.
it's
Fantastical for sure. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely fantastical.
Yeah. And so yeah, so I think it's new enough. I think like the only thing that again can hurt it is the fact that it's limited to being on just PlayStation 5. So that
hmm
whole PlayStation 4 player base is not going to be available to them except for the ones who were lucky enough to get a PlayStation 5, and it's going to take a while for the
Yeah, it's
rest of
also a
them to start
time
getting
exclusive,
into.
which by the name,
True.
by
Yeah.
the sound of
Yeah.
it makes it sound like, okay, eventually, once it jumps into Xbox, then now you market this to the Xbox crowd, and by
Mhm.
that time, hopefully they've made changes enough to where the game could be it a little bit better. I don't think 6 months gonna make a huge impact, but I'm just saying,
I don't think so either. Yeah. No. At
yeah,
that point, a lot of people would just be getting it. I mean,
yeah,
just getting PlayStation 5s at that point too.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So hopefully it'll do good. But yeah. So that Well, guys, that brings us to the end. An awesome
Nope.
episode. Oh,
No, it doesn't.
I'm
You
sorry.
you missed a very important one. I know
Oh,
you need to go
okay.
because it's kind of late, but we can't leave without talking about this one. Marvel's Avengers.
Actually, I had that one on the list too, and I had it on the list with the other, the 76 and Anthem. It's like, oh, this is,
Marvel's
um,
Avengers will be getting a Xbox
upgrade.
Series
Yes.
X
Oh, yeah.
and PS5 upgrade. Yeah, it's definitely getting a next gen upgrade. But is it does it sustain? Does it stay?
I
Mm,
think early on, I think early on it will. If only to play the upgraded version of it on your new console. But that gives them limited time to start creating that new content. And if they don't start creating new content and keeping those players in there, it's just gonna. I mean, it's already falling by the wayside, right? The player count has
yeah, it is the
significantly
playground.
dropped.
There were I put it this way on PC there were 1,000 players at one point, 1,000 players only, which
Yeah,
means
I
that
can see that.
doing matchmaking was next to impossible with a number that low. And this
Hmm.
game came out a couple of
This year,
months ago,
September.
maybe
Hmm.
September
September.
was
Right.
it? So yeah, not too long ago. That's not a good sign, my brother.
That's 2 months ago, essentially. Yeah. No, that's not a good sign.
No.
Now it's making the leap, but I don't think it's going to survive. I think it will fall by the wayside, unfortunately. Yeah,
I'd
I
love to
don't
be
think it's going to
wrong.
do it.
I'd love to.
Me
If
too.
you were to ask
Yeah,
me,
me
I
too.
mean,
If not for me, yeah.
there's a. I feel like I feel the way you feel about Anthem. Is the way I feel about Marvel Avengers. I would love for it
Yeah,
to
but I think
turn
even
around,
Marvel
but
Avengers. I'm sorry.
it just didn't have anything in part. It just didn't have any hook. Anthem was horrible.
No,
Oh,
untrue,
well,
untrue. It
I
had a
shouldn't say
hook.
horrible. I shouldn't
Yeah.
say horrible.
No,
It was pretty bad, but it had a hook. It had one thing that it did. I mean, it was done poorly, but it was
no, no,
still.
no, no. I disagree 100%. Marvel's Avengers had a hook.
What
It
is
was
it?
Marvel's Avengers. That was the hook,
I
and
don't
that's
think
why
that's the
it
saving
sold
grace
so
for it.
well. I
I
think
don't.
that's
Well, yeah, for the Marvel fans, but
there
that
you go.
guess what? They bought that already. This we're talking about gaining new. I
No,
mean,
no. So I'm saying, yeah,
player
yeah,
base.
yeah.
I
You already,
don't see
yeah.
this game getting a new player base.
No,
No matter
no,
how
no.
shiny they make it.
That player base is the player base that they could have gotten, which is, believe it or not, the sales. The sales say it all. The game is in a lot of hands.
No, yeah, yeah.
So, but no one's playing it anymore because that's it. They're done. They've played the game. They're moving on. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's out there. Can they revive it? Possibly, because again, you already own the game, and if you already bought it digitally, which realistically most people already did, because that's
Yeah.
kind of how people buy games. It's easy enough to just say, well, shit, they have some new stuff. Let me go in and re-download it or reinstall it, whatever the case may be. So is it possible? Sure. But I would say that the hook on Marvel's Avengers was way more significant than Anthem. Anthem's hook
Yeah,
is,
I mean,
hey, this is a Bioware game.
at the beginning, the fact what you're saying is they're capitalizing on the fact that they have the heroes, right? But they're not.
Yeah.
This is a Marvel Avengers is not a situation where they're just tearing it down and building it from the ground up. I mean, that could happen if the situation becomes very dire.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's by a track record. I mean, we know that uh, Square Enix already has an example of a game that they has resurrected, but that's not the situation right now. The situation right now is this game is recent, is poor, and there's no mention of Square doing anything to address it other than, well, we'll just keep, we'll just bring a next gen version.
Mhm.
There's no
Yeah, yeah, that's about their only thing. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, the hook might have been bigger, but it was not necessarily longer.
Nice,
If you
nice.
follow my drift.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Unfortunately, no, I agree. I agree, and I think honestly, as crazy as this may sound, I think that I think both are doomed. Anthem and this, but I would honestly give Anthem a little bit of an edge over this one because this one is in dire straits already. There's if you have a less than 1,000 people or 1,000 people playing on PC, okay, maybe you'll have 2 times that amount on console. Maybe, I don't know, but that's not a lot. You know what I mean? And so, and again, the problem is that if you're going to have this type of game, you need to have the content. You need to have the content already laid out, ready to go, and you have at least a good 6 to 8 months of content ready to go before the game launches. You know what I mean? Because this is the deal. People drop off.
Yeah.
And when you drop off like this, it's hard to get them back. And that's another reason why I think Anthem it's hard to get them back. Unless you're an established name. Anthem's not an established name. You know what I mean? And Marvel's Avengers, the Avengers is not the Avengers game.
The game.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about Marvel Avengers. But that's really because I felt like they were dead in the water.
That's really because they don't deserve to be mentioned.
No. I'm giving them some grace here. But anyway, so thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm not even sure if I mentioned earlier, but the real episode 237. And as always, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And please, of course, like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. This is Maddog signing off for this week. Mr. Santos, take us on.
Shout out to Phantasy Star Online 2. I know you didn't got mentioned on the list, but we all know that you are a game as service game. You are free to play, and you're a good game. So just want to send you my love. So yeah, it is a GG. And now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go back to try to be Assassin's Creed Odyssey. See if I can get done with this, so I can touch Valhalla, so I can reach Valhalla, if you will.
Yeah. From Greek to Norse. That's how that works. It's a path of everybody, man. That's what God of War is doing. So, all right, guys. Well, again, we'll see you next week. GG!